It says live now. It has a little iWatch thing. It says one. So that might be you.
Okay, so share to group, share to friends now. Okay.
Sure.
Share to friends now. Let me see. Is it my timeline? Oh, okay, it's not. It's just not mine. Okay, so I need to share my timeline. Okay, so I need to share my timeline.
1 minute setup time.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So I'm probably gonna forget that I'm doing this. So I'm probably gonna forget this anyway. All right, because we'll see. I think I'm probably gonna say they're probably not gonna see it or probably won't pay attention to it. They never pay attention to it anyway. All right, let me make sure this is up, and then some more. Okay, you can go ahead and tell everybody what this is about.
All right, so yes, we did Black Love Part 1 before because it was recommended when we was doing the stuff video about the black household being tore up. Someone said y'all should do a video about Black Love. So this is the part 2 to that. I know it's been a long time since then, but this is part 2, and I think we left off at about moving in. So this is the part where this is like the final part where we move in and everything, throw stuff down. What you want?
Before we get started talking about with the Black Love, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just tell people who are going to be watching this video that Black Love is more than just, you know, posing for, you know, a selfie with you and your boyfriend and stuff like that. It's more than that, or, you know, a cute 30-second video. It's certainly more than that. We've been together for like, what, 7 years, and we've had ups and downs and stuff. And we know the Black Love is a lot more than that. I know a lot of people like to, you know, have those, you know, couple selfies and everything, but it's more than that. You know, real Black Love would be like what we did the other day, where, you know, I, you know, was coming home and basically got stuck in a snowstorm, basically, and I had to walk home and stuff, and I was trying to get home and everything to him, you know, and I didn't want to be stuck in the cold and stuff, and I walked home in heels, you know what I'm saying? So I was for real. And then I think I went to sleep for like an hour, and then we both went back out to go. He digged my car out and everything, and
With the Frisbee.
yeah, with a Frisbee, and, you know, we got my car back home. I mean, everybody knows about the snowstorm, but, you know, I just like the fact that he was willing to help me to go get my car so I can have peace of mind of, you know, sleeping and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So Black Love is more about, you know, doing things to, you know, because you love each other, not just for what to get likes on Facebook or Instagram or any of the other kind of shit. It's about real deal shit. And we are sharing our relationship with other people because we really want people to know, you know, this is for people who, if they're going to begin a relationship, maybe some of the things that they could expect, you know, to happen in their relationship or something, they could, not saying it will, but because everybody's relationship is different. But I just want to lay it out there that, you know, Black Love is not just about what looks good in pictures, okay? There's a lot of the stuff on the media and everything, but it's a lot more than that. Do you have anything to say before we get started about the Black Love?
Nope.
Pictures?
I mean, it's okay to have them. I use Facebook to upload all my stuff. I want that stuff off my phone. You know what I'm saying? and I like to keep my computer kind of clean, so I can always grab the pictures off my Facebook whenever I need them, for as long as Facebook is active. You know what I mean? But
do you think Black Love is only about the selfies that?
Well, I mean, I think people are just hiding the troubles. They're hiding the ups and downs. They're hiding those things. Maybe because they haven't got that stuff figured out. But I'm not hiding it. I mean, some people just don't have the confidence for that stuff, or they'll like to give a persona on social media about certain things, and they'll give this persona like everything's clear, everything's great, and or they'll just attribute everything to, everything being good on God and Jesus, or they won't ever like thank the man, or he won't thank the woman, or some stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we're here to thank each other, and show y'all how Black Love is, and how actually what helped us to better, for our bonding to be better, for our Black Love to be stronger.
Oh, okay. So, I guess we'll start with the Black Love part 2. So, you wrote down the first topic we're going to discuss is the car wreck, because we had part 1 about Black Love. If y'all didn't watch it, you can watch it on his Facebook. It might be on my Facebook too, for people who are looking at my Facebook. But we're going to pick the part up starting with the car wreck that we went through. So do you want me to start talking about the car wreck, or?
Well, just do it briefly, because I think we touched it.
All right, so the car wreck, brief run through. So I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 3-4 years ago. I mean 5 years ago. So basically what happened is that I knew there was going to be a snowstorm coming, and Anwan was at work because I was at school and college and stuff, and I was getting off from school, and I knew I was going to pass right by Anwan's job. I figured, hey, I can pick him up and drop him off at home and stuff, because I knew it was going to be a bad ice storm, a snowstorm and stuff, and I figured, hey, if I go by pick him up, then it's going to be, simple to drop him off, and then I can go home, and then we'll both be safe at home and stuff. And I completely underestimated how the storm was going to go. So turns out I did go pick Anwan up. He got in the car, but it started, it was like snowing, or it's already icing.
It was icing.
So I underestimated my driving ability, because I thought that it was not accumulating really fast, but
it was.
And so
it was misting, and the mist froze on top of each other, and it kept growing in layers of thick ice.
And so I decided it was a great idea to get on the highway, because I thought, hey, the faster we're going, the less likely we're going to be to encounter stoplights and everything. So we drove down the highways, down I-70, I-170, and we're driving down and stuff, and I thought we was making good progress, but as we were going, I started seeing people having trouble, people sliding and stuff. But we continued down the highway and stuff, and then I start noticing people starting to slow down because of the accumulation. And we continued down I-170, going north towards 270. And can you say tell what happened? So we got off, I think we were almost to the exit where we're going to get off at like the highway of I-170, and I think it was like the Berkeley exit or something like that. I forget what that's called, but we was going to get off the exit off the highway and stuff, and then go down the street and continue. But
we tried to slow down going down Hanley. And
the Hanley exit, yeah.
Yeah, Hanley. We tried to slow down going down Hanley exit. A truck comes and hits us in the back. We ricochet off of the side beam or side rail, whatever. Boom. We turn on opposite side. I get out the car. I go up. There's a police officers roll up, and they barricade the exit off. I get up there and I say, hey, we need some help. My lady's hurt over there. I'm hurt. I need some help. And the black police officer was a guy, and the black lady police officer, she was like, well, just go back down there and just wait on the salt truck. I'm like, yeah, but we hurt. Like, we need some help.
Yeah.
And then all we try to do is like, okay, well, I guess I got to get this other guy's information from the truck, try to get his information insurance-wise, but the insurance company wasn't active. So I was like, okay, well, to call the ambulance. We're gonna have to call the ambulance ourselves. So the ambulance came, almost hit us. Okay, and I think they did, but I don't know. It just seemed like it seemed like the ambulance truck just kind of phased through the car. I don't know, it was weird. But they show up and they kept calling me ma'am, 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 and ma'am, are you okay? Ma'am, they just kept calling me ma'am. But that's because, the whole transgender thing and the whole thing with, with women shaving their hair off as low as mine. So it's safer to just call. Whether they look like a guy or a female, you don't ever know. So just call them ma'am. And so they don't want to get in trouble. So they just, they asked us, we need to go to the hospital, and said, yeah. And she needed to go, and she ended up getting a thing on the wrist. She still got actually. So
Yeah.
She just got the stent on the wrist, and I was like, baby, where we gonna go? We gotta go get the car. The car's out there. Well, the car ended up getting towed at Berkeley Towing Place, and we had to go there and get the car, because the car was no longer there. But she said that, we could stay at her Aunt Nene's house. And
No,
so,
Nene's not. She's my cousin.
Oh,
so
okay.
we ended up staying at my cousin's house or whatever. We tried to throw my cousin out there where her name was.
Oh, sorry.
But we ended up staying at my cousin's house, whatever. But this is after we've been in a hospital for like 5-6 hours. And since this had happened, like, when did we get out? We got out like at 4 or 5 in the morning or something. And since nobody was up that could come get us, since the hospital's not that far from my cousin's house, we basically walked in the snow to go to her house or whatever. We ended up, knocking on the door, and my cousin's significant other answers the door, and we basically went into the house, went downstairs, and me and him went to sleep or whatever. Next day, my brother, my brother, he and me and Anwan, we went to go try to find my car. It was not on the Hanley exit off of, like, was it 270? It wasn't over there. We basically had to figure out where it was. So we went to the city of Berkeley, and they said, oh, well, it's at this place. Got to the towing place, and my car was there, but like my back seat, like there was like snow on my back seat. All the papers and stuff that I had in my car were covered in snow and everything. My trunk was like, my car looked horrendous. You know what I'm saying? My trunk looked horrendous and stuff. It was crazy. The trunk was still up. And I was like, oh my God, because I thought that I was going to be able to pick the car up off with, the ramp and stuff. And then I'd be able to get it. And then I wouldn't have to, pay a towing fee. And that took a lot of the money he had. And he paid for that too, to get the car, for us to get the car back and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy ordeal. We did go through a car accident. It was very scary. Next time there's ice, then, I'm going to be more careful. Now, recently I told you guys I was stuck in a snowstorm and stuff. And that was basically because of my job, because they didn't want to let us go earlier when I could have got home safe, So, yeah. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I would tell people, if you got a job and you have to get home or something like that, I would just tell you it's better to just leave work and be safe than to base, your life off of a job. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, we did go through a car wreck, and that car wreck actually was the thing I feel that is going to lead us into our next topic, which is moving in with a sleeping bag. So what happened is, after the car wreck, I felt like my mind was kind of like, I felt like I was kind of going crazy. I was in college at the time that this car wreck had happened, and I started doing a lot of thinking, and I was just like, maybe it's a good idea to move out at this point, because I felt like I had a lot of stress on me going on at home, and because of the car wreck and school, that I was like, maybe it just makes sense for me and Anwan to move out. So me and Anwan had this conversation one day when we were at hotel, And I said to him, I said, well, you know, and one, I'm like, well, maybe we should move into an apartment, you know. And we did ended up moving into an apartment. So we'll talk about moving in with a sleeping bag. So I'll let Anwan continue because I've been talking for a long time.
Okay, well, we was deciding, and I was like, well, Michelle, you're not going to want to be moving in and eating just ramen noodles and hot dogs because we don't have any money because I spent the money for the apartment for food. I spent all that plus a little bit more on the down payment, and I spent that on the car, getting the car out because the car getting it out was like $300. And I was like, so we don't got money for no freaking food. You were not going. I was like, I know you. You like exactly what you want to have when you want to have it, and there ain't no backing down or anything. So guess what we was eating? We was eating freaking ramen noodles and hot dogs. And I didn't have a bed. We didn't have any furniture. You know what I'm saying? And all I had was my freaking sleeping bag. And so it was cold as heck.
Yeah, so the apartment we're in is the apartment we've been in for 4 or 5 years now. And we ended up getting the apartment because I thought it would be a good idea for us to get an apartment because we're both grown and stuff. And, you know, we had been going, you know, since we're adults, we had been going to hotels and stuff. And it had gotten expensive to keep going to hotels and stuff because, you know, we wanted to spend time together. So I thought it'd be a good idea for an apartment. I was the one that saw a sign for an apartment that out here next to my school or whatever, not far from my school, and called the people. And they said they had an apartment available, which was this apartment. I was a little apprehensive about getting an apartment and thinking we wouldn't be able to get one because of our credits and stuff, because I had student debt and stuff for school, and he didn't really have any credit either. But it turns out we got the apartment. And so we did move in with a sleeping bag. Now, how this affected our families was different. So in my family, there are people who weren't very happy that me and anyone got an apartment. And I think they were kind of surprised that I even decided to move in with them, you know, because certain people in my family thought it would be better for me to have another person in the apartment with us, you know, get like a 2-bedroom or something. But that to me didn't make sense, you know, because if me and him wanted to be intimate, we can't be intimate with a third person being here. But I guess because the other person's credit would have been better. So yeah. So I gave it a chance, and we, you know, for our credits and stuff and the money we made, and we got the apartment. We did move in with a sleeping bag. How it affected his family was a little bit different, because I think once I got the apartment and I told my mom that I was moving out, she was kind of shocked, you know, like, what? You're going to be moving out, you know, and I was very direct with my mom about it. And there are people in my family that were okay with me getting an apartment. Cousin of mine, she was okay with me getting an apartment, you know. She was like, well, you know, you grown, you're older than 18, you know, she was like, well, I figure you should have moved out a long time ago, you know, once you started college, I think you should have moved out. But, you know, I guess, you know, other people just didn't want me to move out, you know, for whatever reason. But, you know, tell people, how did your family respond to you saying that you were moving?
Well, basically,
into the apartment?
Basically, my mom was happy. She was like, okay, good. You know, you're going to discover what bills is like. You know, you're going to discover what it was like when you was little and what I had to go through. So you're going to discover those things. If you need help, let me know. I was like, thanks, Mom. But my aunts, they was basically doing, you know, getting their last say-sos in, telling me what to do. Don't wear shorts. You know, put a shirt on. Don't walk around the house with no shirt on. Don't do that. With no shirt off. You know, basically anything that I do as a man-wise is to like demasculate me, whatever. And that's basically what they was trying to do. And I was just like, well, I guess you got to get your last pesos in because I guess I am leaving. So I went and took the trash out, mowed the lawn, and I was gone. Well, I couldn't mow them, actually, because it was got in the winter, but
Yeah, we
Basically,
did.
Trash out, did a couple chores, and I was like, all right, that's it. That's the last of the chores I'm doing. All right, I'm out. And I got my stuff. Michelle had a car. Boom, got the keys, moved in.
Yeah. What I think I did a lot of is from my mom's house. I did a lot of bringing stuff. So I'd go home like after I got off school, and I'd like get some stuff and then bring it back to our place or something like that. So it was kind of a back and forth type of thing, you know, like moving stock by stock type of deal. That's kind of what I was doing, you know, moving my stuff in and stuff. But when we started off, yeah, we were sleeping on the floor. I think we did have electricity, but we didn't have heat. So it was kind of me and him. And in our apartment, the crazy thing is that we didn't know that the windows had like, I don't know, like a draft or something, so cold air pours in here.
The door.
Yeah, and so we didn't know that. We didn't know to look for that kind of stuff. So that's why it was really cold, because there's like a draft come from the window, so cold air is pouring in here. We didn't know why it was cold. It was like, damn, why is it so damn cold? And we was over shivering and stuff. I don't know how long it took us to figure out the plastic. It took us a while to figure that out, but we did start dealing with bills, but not at first, because I think it took a month, because the apartment people, it was still in their name for like, I think until the next month, and then it changed into our names or whatever. So he decided to put his name on under the electric bill. I put my name under the gas bill and stuff. It's been the same since. So he still has his name in the electric bill. Mine's on the gas bill and stuff. Do you have anything else to say about the sleeping bag when we first started here?
Nope.
Oh yeah, and in terms of cooking stuff, I got my cooking stuff from my Aunt Mary, who is she passed last year. But before, like, I think what happened is, like, when we first moved in some years ago, she was somebody that was really nice enough to give us like pots and pans and stuff, some plates, and I think she gave us some cups too or whatever to use and stuff. And I really appreciate her for that, because she was really nice about it. She's like, well, you know, y'all gonna need some stuff to start off with. She's like, well, I don't expect y'all to have these pots and pans and stuff. I don't expect y'all to have this stuff like forever, but you know, at least it's something to start y'all off with. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciated her for doing that. And you know, I think that was love. You know what I'm saying? Like, to get love from a relative, you know. And I really appreciate my aunt. You know, I'm really, like, you know, can't imagine her, you know, not being here, you know, since she passed last year. But, you know, I really appreciate her for that, you know.
I think I did a tribute to her when you were on Facebook. Nobody cared.
I did do a tribute to my Aunt Mary, and nobody really gave a fuck at all. And I'm just going to be blatantly honest. Nobody really cared. And that's usually why on Facebook, I usually don't even like do a lot of commenting or videos. I usually don't even do that. Because nobody seems to care. Everybody seems to be into superficial stuff, but I know there's some people who like to know about the real deal stuff. So that's why we're talking about real stuff, because we want to help people who maybe they're going to be in a relationship and they want to know how another Black couple's relationship went. So for the people who are watching for the right reasons, yeah, I appreciate you. And for the people who don't, well, I guess they don't matter. So let's see. Now, when we were here, and we did start off eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. Now, back when me and him was talking in the hotel before we got to the apartment, I was like, Alan, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. We can eat ramen noodles and hot dogs, but at least we'll have our own place. You know, at least we will, you know. And that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be okay to do that, you know. But I got to admit, I did get sick of eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. So he was absolutely right. You know, he was right about that. I did. I got sick of it. I mean, the first time I ate it, it was fine. But after that, it wasn't fine. So yeah, he was right with that regard about us eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. So the next part that we're going to talk about is me being in college and what effect it had on my relationship with him. So me being in college was tough on our relationship because there's a lot of times where I would devote so much time to doing a lot of studying. And when I'm studying, I can be studying for hours at a time, and he'll want to come in and give me a hug or give me a kiss, and I'm like, you know, because I was more into studying and everything than I was about my relationship, if that makes sense. So, you know, the books got more of my time, you know, than he did, and he did not like that in the least. What do you think?
It just sucked because it was like, man, no affection, no nothing. I don't get no nothing. Like I can't show love, I can't get love. It sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it. But like when it came, it just sucked because like, hey, I need help with these CDs. Could you get them for me? Like, can you buy them for me? Hey, I need help with these books. Can you buy some of the books? You know, Aaron, could you help with it? I'm like, dang, I can help.
Yeah, but Aaron helped
but
me buy stuff, and that was for school. I thought that was great.
Man, it sucked. But I couldn't get no hugs, no kisses, no, you know, nothing. But I can pay for this, so I hated it.
But she was the one with the full-time job, though. I only had a part-time job, so like.
I know.
Yeah, but he made most of the money, so you know. Yeah, so I just, you know, I really wish. I think back then maybe I should have been more, you know, I could have been more affectionate with him than I was, because.
And we were Christians this whole time, so.
Yeah, and I want people to know that too. We both were Christians, so. That has some bearing on both of us because, you know, we were living our lives based off of that. Now, some people are going to come in and say, well, if y'all was Christians, then why the hell were you guys living together? You know, you should have been married before you guys got together. Well, let me tell you something. There was no way in hell that my parents were going to let me get married if I was not done with college. They weren't going to do that. So for those of you guys watching saying that, whether it be, you know, on any side of my family in particular, or anybody who's his friends or family, whatever, my parents were not going to go for me getting married if I didn't have a college degree. Okay. They felt like me getting a college degree was a sign that I was grown to them and that I could stand on my own and everything. So they would not acknowledge me, their daughter, getting married unless I had a degree. My dad wouldn't. My mom wouldn't either. So that's one of the reasons why I did not get married, because they would not recognize or approve of a marriage if I did not graduate from college. And, you know, I don't know if y'all want to try to challenge my mom on that, because my mom is tough, so she good luck trying to tell my mom about how I'm supposed to be, you know, how she's supposed to raise me and what I'm supposed to be doing, okay? Because she raised me from a baby, you know, all the way up until I left home. So, and I was like 20, in my early 20s when I left home. So, yeah, good luck with that. So, yeah, college had an effect on our relationship a lot of times because I did a lot of studying when I was in college, which meant that he didn't get much of my time, you know. And it was stressful too, you know, because I think college takes so much of my time. And then when I wasn't studying, I was at work. Now, I love the fact that since I lived in close vicinity to the school, that, you know, I didn't have to go down a highway and take 30 minutes to get to college. I love that. You know, I love that I could, you know, come home in like 15 minutes and I'd be at home and it would be easy. Now, a lot of times like I would get home and be at home a lot of times and I'd be here myself. We did not have a lot of stuff. And because of that, I would kind of do my homework and stuff at home, but then, you know, I get bored, you know, so I just like study until like it was time to go pick him up and stuff. I was the one with the car. He didn't have one, so I had to pick him up from work and everything. But, you know, I was okay with it. May not have been on time all the time to pick him up. I'm going to just get that out there right now. But, you know, we was making it work at the beginning when it came to, you know, having an apartment and everything. I know everybody's not going to be happy about us like being in a like living together before getting married, and I know that's a Christian thing and a church thing, and you know.
Well, we was Christians too when I decided to do it. I only decided to do that simply because I went and I asked people. People kept my like professionals, like my teachers when I was in college, kept on telling me, and want to make sure that you live together with the person before you marry them. And these was people who was settled down, like adult settled down, not the settle down, not the woman way, not the have a baby and get married and just not that. Okay, it's the when you're an adult and you're single and you said you're settled down in your career, you're settled down with the house, you're settled down with the car, and you're steady. Okay, so that's the type of settle down I'm talking about. Okay, so my first teacher was a woman, and her name changed. I was like, "Oh, you got married?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'd always go to my teachers early, so I can get a leg up on my work. So I wanted to do good in college. So, you know, when I was like, "Oh, how'd your name change?" She's like, "Oh, I got married." Well, next thing you know, her name changes back. I'm like, "What happened?" And she's like, "Oh, I had to go get my name changed back because I got a divorce." And then she was like, "I want to make sure that you live with a person first before you marry them, because it's different." And I was like, Are you a Christian? Do you believe in Jesus and God and stuff?" She's like, "Yeah." "Why you ask?" I'm like, "Oh, because I'm a Christian too. And I've heard that everything is supposed to be right with God, and when you do things right, everything's supposed to be right with God, and everything's supposed to be right with the church, and everything will be right with you." But I see that's not true in your case. And so next semester rolls around, and same thing happens this time with the professor. He's a guy, and same thing happens. He gets married, and I'm like, "Oh, you got a ring?" He's like, "Yeah." Next thing you know, he gets divorced, and it's so fast. It happens like one semester right after the other semester. Okay, and now he's telling me, he's like, "Elon, man, make sure that you live with a person before you marry them." I'm like, right. So the same thing. I'm like, "Are you Christian?" He's like, "Yeah." So you believe in Jesus? I said, "Yeah." I was like, "So you believe in Jesus and you believe in God?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, he said, "Why you ask?" I'm like, "Well, because they told me that that's still supposed to work out, and everything will be right with God, and everything will be right with you and Jesus, and everything will be right with the church, and everything will be right with you, and everything will be right. And God shines upon two people not shacking up, or whatever. But if it didn't work out, then they're lying." This is the second time I heard that. It was actually there was a third time, because the guy, the first thing I looked up was a black dude, because I wanted to see what it was like, because my prayers wasn't working and stuff like that wasn't working anyway. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do, and then I'll be in God's favor and everything will work out. So I watched this black dude who said that he only hugged the girl or whatever, but he never kissed her. His wedding was his first kiss, and came to honeymoon, it was time for him to have sex, whatever. So he dropped his drawers and he said he did everything right. His drawers, whatever. He dropped his underwear or whatever. And now it's time for him to have sex with the lady, or whatever. So she looks down and she says, "What the hell is that? You call that a penis? I've seen horses' penises bigger than that." And then they ended up getting a divorce like the next day, just that fast. And I'm like, dang, he did everything. He's on the path that I was on, and it didn't work out for him. Okay, so I'm like, okay, scratch to get married first and then living together. Scratch that, because that's obviously a lie. Because I've heard from 3 people now that's grown-ups, that's got their stuff together, farther ahead in life than I am, and I'm like, they got a house, got a car, in their careers. You know what? No. So we're gonna listen. I'm gonna use my education. I'm gonna listen, use my education, use the knowledge that's given to me from these older people who's been here before, who's went through it, and I'm gonna learn from their issues and learn from their mistakes, and I'm going to do things differently. And so, boom, that's how I came to the realization of should live together first before marriage. See if we can even work out together first.
Okay, so the next topic is first discussion about, I think you said your abuse. So
oh yeah, so So now we're moving together and stuff like that. Michelle was on the bed and air bed at this time, and I was explaining to her like, the abuse I went through, with my dad and stuff, in my dad's house, stuff like that, and with his wife, and the mental abuse and stuff like that, and the other type of abuse that I went through with my in my mom's house, with her with the stepdad there, or with her boyfriend, and she, it was like, I guess this is the most crazy stuff that she's ever heard. So she kept telling me, Ellen, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Now, for me, I'm like, this should be very easy for me to convey, but I never thought that, like, that how unbelievable it sounds that a person could be that evil, to the point where another person explained it would not believe it. It was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because when he told me that he had gone through abuse, I didn't really understand how to take it in a way, because of the things he was describing. And sometimes even to this day, when he talks about the stuff that he went through, it's hard to hear. But my thing was, when I heard about him being abused, I'm like, well, how could you be abused if you have parents in the home? How is your mom going to be letting this happen to you? How's your dad going to be letting this happen to you? Like, I didn't understand that. That was really a foreign concept to me, because my belief is that if you have your parents in the home, there should be no way that you should be able to get abused and stuff like that, because if they love you, they wouldn't let anything happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I really did not understand much about it at the time, if that makes sense.
I was a Christian throughout that whole time too, dealing with that stuff.
Okay, so, and we and when I was talking to him, we were sitting up there talking about it, we both were too. I attended a Catholic church because my mom's side of the family gravitated more so towards Catholicism, and for him, he came from more like a what background, like a Pentecostal.
Well, that's the one I went to the most. So
he went to a Pentecostal church, but he went to Baptist. I've been to a Baptist church before, the ones you see on TV, the upbeat, the music, jumping around type of thing. Like like, to me, a Baptist church would kind of be like if you was watching a Tyler Perry movie or something, and they're in a church, it's kind of like that. So I think I've seen that before, when it came to like when I was younger and stuff, but I think I just gravitated more so towards a Catholic church, which is more of a quieter church and stuff, especially because I'm more of a quiet person. So I would have referred to myself not as a Catholic, like a full Catholic, but I would say I was a Catholic person, not necessarily like a full Catholic, because if you're Catholic, like, you have to go through Catholic school and everything. My mom would have been classified more as a full Catholic because she went through Catholic school and everything. But for me, I would just be a Catholic, like a person who attends a Catholic church, not really a full Catholic. Full Catholic would be somebody who can go up and, say the prayers and everything in front of the people, at the church, and give out the wafer and the wine and everything, so that they would be able to do that stuff. And my mom would be able to do that. But me, well, no, because I didn't go to Catholic school and all that stuff. So yeah. So next topic is I'm having a hard time looking at it because the writing is slanted. Next topic is you said engagement through Facebook pressure. All
right, so this is the time where she felt pressure, or Michelle felt pressure through seeing her friends get engaged, and we was attending some of their weddings and stuff and some of their receptions, and she was feeling like life was passing her by, and these people were having these people were getting married. So
I didn't care.
You've been with me for this long, but we were still arguing and stuff, and I was not ready.
Well, my thing is that I wouldn't really say it's through Facebook, because I'm not really a person on Facebook like that. So I had a friend that I went to middle school with that I found out she was getting married, and I got to go to her wedding and everything, and I thought, wow, this is crazy. My friends get married and stuff. And I was happy to go to her wedding. She happens to be, you know, white, and her husband, her and her husband, you know, they're white or whatever, but they, you know, got married and stuff. And I was, you know, I was thinking that, you know, wow, they got married, you know, and me and her kind of, she might be a year younger than me or whatever, but, you know, we're in middle school together. She got married. You know, I didn't see any reason why I couldn't get married. And then there was a girl there that's one of my Facebook friends now because she was at the wedding, another white girl. And she was somebody there who hadn't gotten married yet and everything. And you know, me and her kind of bonded, me, her, and everyone kind of at a table, you know, talking one another while we was there and stuff. Because, you know, when you're at a wedding, you don't know many people, you just kind of, you know, start talking and stuff. And, you know, the person turned out to be cool. She was kind of awesome to talk to and everything. Now, she ended up getting married like a year later. But what I'm going to say about that is when we were talking to the girl, my chick, then we, like, she was talking about her perspective about the fact that, you know, she asked me and Ewan, like, how long we had been together. We said, oh, we've been together, I think at the time we were talking to her, it might have been, what, 3 years or something? I think we had said we'd been together 3 years. She's like, 3 years? What? She's like, well, you know, I would think you guys would have gotten married by now. You know, I mean, if you guys are together for a year, then, you know, next year you think you'd be getting married, you know. So to her, like, you know, by the time you where we are, you know, then we should have been married. And I guess to her it makes sense. You know, now the next year I found out that she got married the next year. After she was with a guy for, I think, maybe, I don't know if it's a year or following year, but she ended up getting married. She since had a baby or whatever with the guy. But, you know, just like we were both blown away by that too. That, you know, wow, after a year being together, then you think you should kind of, you know, get hitched and get married like after a year being together. Isn't that kind of soon, you know? So yeah, it was something. You know who I'm talking about,
Megan.
Yeah. So yeah. So Megan. So I'm not giving the last name, but yeah. So she would assume we should have got married. So I think for me, I did feel like I should, you know, be able to get married, especially after, you know, a middle school friend got married and stuff. And I thought I should be able to, you know. So I told him, and I said, well, you know, I told him, I said, well, if you're not going to marry me, somebody else is, you know. And I shouldn't have said that. I think it was more so because I felt like, you know, I felt like we'd been together long enough, and it didn't have anything to do with, you know, it had more to do with, I think it was my womanhood. You know what I'm saying? The fact that if I see another woman doing something, I want to be able to do something. Now, I'm not going to say, like, if the person's doing something illegal, I'm going to do it. But I think I saw marriage as being very harmless. And I thought, well, you know, it would be great if we got married because, you know, my family, you know, gets to know his family, and the issues I was having with his family will be solved, you know, if we got married. That was like my thing. But I think also the fact is I was just, you know, wanting to, you know, I didn't think much about marriage, and I just thought, oh, I can, you know, get a chance to wear a pretty dress and, you know, have a wedding and my family be there and everything. And I thought it would be good. That's really what I thought. I didn't really take marriage as heavy or anything like that. I just think it was something that I wanted to do because a friend of mine had done, and so I thought it was only natural for me to do that because, you know, yeah, it was something I saw on Facebook. But I thought, well, as a woman, if you know, if a friend of mine got married, then shouldn't I be good enough to be able to get married too? You know, especially if, you know, I've been in a relationship and for some years, you know. But yeah. So, what did you think about the engagement because of the Facebook pressure, in your opinion?
Well, I wasn't ready. I was like, well, I'm clean. She's not. I'm organized. She's not. I'm always cleaning the bathroom. I vacuum. I do a lot of the housework all the time, and I work. She doesn't work as much as I do, and I work full time. And it's like she wouldn't do that stuff. So I'm waiting. Like I was only going to engage her when she was comfortable with taking on the housework.
But you did. But you.
But I kept. She would. I would make breakfast. I was making dinner after work, and I was taking
But
care of the house.
You did engage me though after I said that though.
Yeah, I mean I did.
You did.
I did, and it was like okay, let's just put it this way. As a guy, I fucked up. I shouldn't have did it on Valentine's Day or during the time of February and Valentine's, because that's the worst time. That's when the pressure really.
Bad time.
It's the worst time for. I mean, I didn't think it was. I didn't realize that it was happening that way.
Well,
all I thought was she said, "Well, if you don't engage me, somebody else will." She walks out the door, boom, slams the door, and I was in front of me like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! What I gotta do? I gotta find a ring. I gotta do this." And I was like, "Well, wait, should I marry?" I'm like, "I'm not even ready. I'm not even ready." So I was sitting thinking like, "Damn. Okay, I haven't tried everything yet." Like I haven't tried everything that I could in a relationship yet to the point where I'm okay to let her go, knowing that I've tried everything I could to save it. So because of that, I'm like, since I still have a shot to save it, and there's still more stuff I can try, like counseling and stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just go ahead and engage her because I still can make this work, maybe. So that's when I went ahead and I did that, and that's where y'all saw the pictures.
Yeah, where we got engaged and stuff. We had a little video. He's like, "You have to be engaged." I was like, yeah, like that. I still remember saying that. And we got engaged at like what park? Creve Coeur Lake Park. That's where we got engaged. So we got the beautiful lake and stuff. People run there and ride bikes and stuff or whatever. He's been trying to catch a fish there, but we never went to get a fishing pole when we go. So that hasn't worked out yet. We're supposed to go to get the paddle boards and stuff too there, but we haven't gotten around to it. We were supposed to do it last year, but we never got around to that, oddly. So
you didn't want to go.
Well, I did, but I was just.
You didn't want to go.
I did, but I just think we got busy with stuff. But anyway, so the next topic, after the Facebook pressure, so me and him went kind of. We were engaged. We were engaged for a little while. And how long were we engaged anyway? I think before the. How long were we engaged anyway before?
I see you, brother.
So how long were we engaged? Because we were engaged for a minute before like the next topic happened. So what's the next topic?
All right. Before I start the next topics, I want to say at the end of our video, I'm gonna do all comments. Okay. When we get to the end, I'm gonna answer all the comments. So y'all get y'all's comments answered. Whoever joins, it's only my brother so far. What's up, bro? All right, go ahead.
So what was the next topic? So. Because I don't know how. I think there was a window between our engagement and that happening. Because I think that was some years after that.
Okay, so basically, Michelle got pregnant through the pull-out method. I was trying to find stuff because she got off birth control. She was tired of. Basically, I didn't know how much it cost. She got off of it because she didn't have a job anymore or something like that, and it was because she couldn't feel anything. And the birth control pill. Now I didn't know there was other options, and I never took a look at the condom pamphlet to see if there was other options. I didn't know that stuff, and but she convinced me, hey, I can't feel anything with the birth control pill, so I'm going off of it. And I'm
because it was costing me. It was costing me money because I was paying for my birth control that I got, and I got it through like I think I got a reduced rate or something, but yeah, I was paying for it. And because of that, like for me, I just wanted to stop it because the thing is that the thing is with the birth controls, Anwan was frustrated when I was on the birth control pill because I said I couldn't feel anything, and he was frustrated about it, and that made the experience of sex not very fun.
Yeah.
And he would constantly get frustrated every time we was doing stuff, like we was having intercourse. So I went off of it because so he could, we could see if it will make a difference. So I went off of it. Now, I believe that I got off of birth control before we got here, though. I think
Yeah,
maybe, but I don't know because we're kind of doing this based off of a long period of relationship or something. But anyway, so what happened is that I think it was a year or so after, like, I got engaged or something. I was, think I was in my senior year of college, and what happened is like in January of 2015, because in May I was going to be graduating. January 2015, I found out that I was pregnant, and I was just about to finish college, and that's not really something that I wanted to happen. And it happened because Anwan was using
the pull-out method.
And everybody says that the pull-out method is...
Yeah, it always works. See, the thing I did was I wanted to make sure that somebody was using that for a long time, for like a period of years, and it's always worked for them before I started doing that.
You did not.
Yes, I did. I was on Yahoo. I was on Yahoo Answers, and that's what I saw. And several people kept saying it on Yahoo Answers. So I did, and I freaking believed them, and now I know that the pull-out method does not work.
Yeah, because how did it happen again? It was the pull-out method, though, I think, because yeah.
Well, the weird thing was I didn't even feel like I was going to orgasm at all, so I don't know. But I guess I had already did that prior, and we just kind of continued having sex afterwards.
Yeah.
And the lady at the doctor called it stowaway sperm. So when you ejaculate and you don't go to the bathroom, you have stowaway sperm. So that means that like it will still seep out, and that sperm will still seep out of the penis during intercourse after that. So.
And so he also knew I was pregnant because I started like eating food. Like I started eating a lot of food.
A lot. The biggest sign was she ate leftovers and watermelon. She does not like watermelon. I like watermelon. And then she hates eating leftovers out of the refrigerator. But she started eating leftovers out of the refrigerator.
And so what happened is that I would be I was eating a lot of food, and one telltale sign, like what people would see from the Sims, is I started eating ice cream. And Anwan was devastated by ice cream.
Why do you want to get all this freaking ice cream? And I'm like, something is wrong, because I was working out at the time, and I eat for 2 hours. She was not working out at the time, and she does not eat, and she started eating every 2 hours.
Yeah.
As if like me, when I was working out all the time, hitting the gym, I would eat every 2 hours. But that's how often she was eating.
Yeah, and the thing was Anwan's realization. So I was what the heck was it? I was like getting frustrated, and this was a time where things were not going so well for us in our relationship. We were arguing and whatever. And this was like right after New Year's too, like the first of the year. And was it 2016 or whatever? No, 2015. Yeah. So it was after the first of the year, and I found I was pregnant. I was eating a lot and everything, and this was affecting my school too. So I would go to school, and I was trying to focus on my schoolwork and stuff, but I kept getting sick because I was pregnant, and I was like, I did not like the fact that I could not concentrate, because I felt like I had to eat, and when I ate something, then I would be able to focus and stuff. And I had night classes too, so it was like, damn, this being pregnant is getting away with my stuff, and it started getting annoying to me and stuff. And me and him were arguing and everything, because I think it was very stressful on both of us, and we didn't know how to handle it, because that was something we never thought would happen, where I would get pregnant and stuff. And it was not something we thought. Yeah, we was having sex, but we didn't think that, that it would, happen when I was like about to graduate from college and stuff. So what happened is that me and him got in an argument one day, and it was based off that, I needed food and I wanted to eat food, and I was frustrated about it. And I was like, you know, I need food and everything like that. And I think it was what did I say?
Well, she was taking me to work, and right before she dropped me off, this ruined the whole workday for me. And this was the biggest regret I ever had. Is like it was like the biggest failure. Like I never felt like a failure, but like I felt like a failure after this. When she said that, well, I'm going to tell everybody, you know, if you can't feed me, I'm going to tell everybody, and then they're going to make you get me some food. But the thing is, I ran out of money. Like I ran out of money. Like I couldn't pay for like certain bills and stuff. I couldn't like pay for certain like I had to like forgo some rent. Like I ran out of money to the point where I couldn't feed her, and then I felt like a fucking failure. Like I never felt that bad as like that. I fucking felt like I can't even provide a basic need, you know, as a guy, and I'm working this job where it makes $11.50 an hour, and I can't even do it. And then I was like, man, that means we gotta do something else because I can't feed her.
Well, here's what I want to come in on with this. So at this time, we were both still Christians at the time, and I want to lay that out there because, you know, like nothing was working for us. Now, some people might say, oh, well, you know, see, y'all shouldn't have moved in together. Y'all shouldn't have been shacking up because then this wouldn't have happened. And y'all would have been married, then things would have been right with God and everything when she got pregnant and everything. That's what people would have said, you know. And they probably would have, you know, been like, oh, well, this and that. But, you know, the thing is that, you know, it's me and him in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? And me being pregnant was not, it was stressful on both of us. And for me, I didn't feel like I can go to anybody in my family and talk because I knew if I went and talked to people in my family, then they would be more likely to tell me that we had to get married, a rushed wedding and stuff. And I wouldn't have wanted something like that, you know, just because of a baby. You know, I wouldn't have wanted that. And I knew my parents would have been disappointed because I was just about to graduate from college and stuff. And I just knew it would be basically a nightmare for me, you know, and it wouldn't have been the kind of wedding that I would have wanted. So we had to make a decision on what was going to happen in terms of my pregnancy. So what topic do we move on to? Because we're following a list of stuff that anyone wrote down. So it says, oh yeah, so we decided that it would be best for me to get an abortion. Reason being is because he couldn't, you know, he wasn't able to, even though he's working full time, making $11.50 an hour, he wasn't able to afford taking care of me, like feeding me, let alone the, you know, the bills and me being pregnant. Like he wasn't able to do that, you know. And so we thought abortion was the best option. Now, for me, when I heard him say that, you know, abortion would be a good idea, a lot of people are going to probably get mad and they're going to say, well, why would he say get an abortion? You know, if you guys are pregnant, you know, not if you guys are pregnant, but if you're pregnant, you know, you have the right to have the baby, whatever. But when I was growing up as a kid, you know, I experienced going through times where, like, my family didn't have a lot of money, and my mom was the one that was raising us and everything. Yes, I have a dad. Yeah, my mom and dad were married, but they had, you know, split basically. So my mom was the one taking care of us and everything. And so I went through a childhood of having times where, you know, times we didn't have lights on, times we didn't have heat, times we didn't have food, you know what I'm saying? So there's, like, as a kid growing up like that, you know, it's really something where you really start to appreciate things. And if you know, like, you grew up without having food, lights, you know, heat, and, you know, and every time I was a kid that didn't get new stuff very often either. It was rare when I got new stuff. So, like, my thing is I grew to appreciate having new stuff when it came, so much so that now when I get something brand new, you know, I don't even use it. Like, I will fucking put it in a closet before I will even start, like, playing with something. Like, if I have, like, my engagement ring, it's still in a box in the closet. You know, one reason is because I want to keep it somewhere where I don't lose it, but also because, you know, for me, getting new things when I was a kid, because I didn't get that very often. So, like, even now, if I buy new clothes, I won't even wear them, you know, for a long period of time because I want to keep them new. I want to keep them smell nice and stuff because that was rare for me. And I'm still recovering from that kind of stuff. So yeah, we decided that an abortion was the best thing to do at the time, because we knew neither of us had the money
And I was discussing with her, like, okay, well, if we do this, you'll be going back with your mom. I'll be going back with my mom if my mom has space. If not, then I'll be homeless. Because the house on my mom's side was really full. So it's like, okay, you know, all I can do is have to save up and get this done and see what our options are. So like we went there to the Planned Parenthood and everything, and we were discussing. Okay, it's like, well, it's $200 for the first some weeks or whatever, and then she has to wait a month or something like that, and then it's another $200.
So basically, I'll describe this. So we both went to Planned Parenthood, and nobody in my family knew that I went there. And it was me and him. We drove there in my car to Planned Parenthood, and they said the first visit is $200, and then if you move forward with the second part, then it'll be like an additional $200. So for people watching, I want you to know the government does not subsidize this stuff. You are the one to pay for the abortion. They don't pay for shit. You pay for it. This came out of his check, okay? The money he worked for, this came from him paying for it. It didn't come from no government, subsidies or grants or none of that shit. Abortions are not free. You end up paying for it. I just want to let people know about that, because you're the one to pay for it.
$400.
Yeah, in total it's $400. So first visit, we go in, they gave me like regular checkup, they check your pulse, they draw blood, they have me pee in the cup, and stuff. And then I came back out, had to sit there and wait for like 30-45 minutes. Then I go back in and they tell me, okay, yeah, you are in fact pregnant. You are, they tell me I'm pregnant and stuff. And then they tell me, okay, well, you go back out and sit there and stuff. And then I had got to go back and see them again. This is where the lady was doing the ultrasound so that I can see that I was pregnant, how far along I was. And I think I was like, 5 weeks maybe that I was along in my pregnancy. And so it was confirmed with the ultrasound and stuff, and they had me print out a picture. They printed out a picture for me of the ultrasound, and they had me go back out there, sit down or whatever. And I came out and I showed Ann the picture of the ultrasound, and I said, here's the picture of the ultrasound, I am pregnant. They said I'm this much long, whatever. And then I went back again to talk to another lady, and the lady was asking me, are you sure, you want to go through it, getting an abortion? Is this really something you want to do? Why are you getting it? Whatever. And I told the lady, I said, well, I'm still in college right now. This is not a good time for me to be having a baby, I want to graduate. I want my parents to be proud of me and everything. My family to be proud of me. So, I think this is only right for me to do. And maybe, in the future when I want to have kids, then I can do that, but this isn't something I want to do right now. And, I want to get married and everything. And, I don't want to have a kid before that, So she's like, okay, well, she asked me about insurance. I said, no. Then she said, well, this is how it's going to go. You'll come back. Before you can come back, she's like, well, you'll have to, I think she said something about that I'd have to have a waiting period. So I had to wait some weeks. I think I had to wait like 2-3 weeks or something before I can decide, like not before I can decide, but before I could come back, because this is a waiting period. So if I decided, let's say I decided I didn't want to go through and get the second appointment, then, I will be able to. And this is something that's legal in Missouri, where you have to wait a certain amount of time, like a time window, before you can even get the like certain amount of weeks, before you can get like waiting period, before you can come back in and get the abortion and stuff or whatever. So lady told me, okay, you're gonna wait about 3 or so weeks. Then we'll schedule an appointment, but you have to wait for these weeks and stuff, and then you come back in. meet with the doctor one day, and then the next day you're gonna come in, and then you're gonna get, you know, you go through, get the procedure. And so I said, okay. She scheduled the appointment some weeks out or whatever, and I had the waiting period. So yes, I had to go back home still being pregnant, and I told anyone like what the lady told me about what I was gonna have to do, and I was like, well, darn, I thought I was gonna be able to get it done all in one day, you know, but it didn't work like that. So I had to wait some weeks, and I waited about 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something, and it turns out that they scheduled my appointment out a little further than it was supposed to be. So I told the lady, I said, hey, is there any way, like some weeks later, I said, hey, is there any way that I can, you know, get the appointment sooner? Because, you know, I really want to get this over with and everything. And, you know, I wanted to catch it before I started showing, because I didn't want people, my family, saying, oh, you're starting to show, you're pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's because I was so tired of being sick and eating and everything like that. And during that period of time, I really felt alone in the pregnancy because, you know, he was under stress. I was under stress. I really felt more alone to myself. I didn't feel like I could talk to family or anybody about how I felt and everything. And it was just sucky because, and I didn't feel like I could talk to him because a lot of times we talk, it was kind of tense, you know, and it wasn't something where we both, you know, be able to be in agreement on things. So I think with the abortion, I just decided it was something that I had to do, and I was willing to go through getting it. At one point, I was afraid of getting the abortion before I decided to even do it, but I kind of just decided to do it because I felt like, well, you know, it's for the best, you know, and even if I'm afraid or scared of it, I should just go through it anyway, because, you know, even if I'm gonna, because I thought I would die from it. That's what I thought. But I'm like, well, you know, it's for the best. And, you know, if something happens to me when this goes down, then, you know, at least I would have did right by not bringing a baby here and stuff like that to not have me here, you know, and it be left here. So, you know, I was kind of accepting. I'd already accepted, well, you know, something could go wrong. If it does, I was at peace with if my life were lost, it would be okay. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know I was thinking like that, but I was straight up thinking like that because I was like, you know, I think it's because of the depression and the stress and stuff that I just felt the way that I did.
Only thing that happened with me was I kept having dreams of this kid appearing, of a little boy appearing, talking about mommy's going to get tased in the stomach. You're going to try to protect her from the cops, and then the police is going to kill you, and the police are going to start tasing people in the stomach. They're going to start tasing mommies in the stomach, and then they're going to take me away from mommy. They're going to take me out, and then I'm going to be all alone. And I kept having that dream over and over and over, and like 5 times I had the same dream, and I was like, you know, I think this kid is. I think, you know, I don't know. I never told her about that until like a while afterwards. After it happened, I was like, I don't know. Because the reason why I even started telling her about that is because that started to happen like after the abortion. That shit with the police tasing women in the stomachs and stuff like that, and pregnant women in the stomachs and black women in the stomachs. That was really happening, and so that's why I told her like, oh man, I gotta tell you something. And I told her about the dream about the kid.
I think one of the things that I would have been happier with is that during the period when I was pregnant, I think I was looking for there to be more companionship on his end, and I still feel that emotion, like he should have been more supportive, and I felt like he was supposed to be, and he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And I still do feel that emotion, like, you know, I was by myself. I shouldn't have felt by myself, you know, about it, because, you know, it was, you know, basically me carrying his kid, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I still expect that still, you know what I'm saying? Now he's better about being supportive now, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, back then I wish he would have, you know, and I can't expect him to know, but still, you know, like feeling the way that I did and not having anybody to talk to, I was hoping that I'll be able to talk to him, but we weren't on the best terms. This is why I tell people, if y'all on bad terms, it's not a good idea if a woman gets pregnant to go through having a kid. That's just not the best thing to do, because the guy may not know what to do in this situation.
Yeah, I was so when she was going through the pregnancy and going through that stuff, and the failure was always hitting me. You can't feed her. You shouldn't be with her anymore. And and after the operation, I was trying to break up with her. I was trying to break up with myself because I was like, I failed. I felt really freaking bad. You don't deserve this anymore. And I was like, you should find somebody else that's better at this stuff. I'm like, I obviously still got a lot to learn, and I ain't doing so good.
I'll tell people. So I did go through the procedure of getting the abortion. I found it the day that I went to get it, because I did have to come in. I think I came in to meet with the doctor one day, and then the next day, I told him, I was going to go through with it, and they was like, okay. And there was a lot of girls that was back there that was going to get the abortion and stuff. I was glad to see other girls were getting it, and it made me feel more comfortable. I got to talk to the girls that were in the back with me and stuff, and each one of us, talked, and the girls were telling me why they were getting it. Some girls had already had kids. I hadn't had any, but there was another girl that was Asian that she was in college and she had gotten pregnant and she was getting it too. And I think I like that sisterly bond that I was getting with the other girls that was there, getting the same thing. And I waited, it seemed like hours, oh my God, and I spent time reading magazines and stuff. And then, I got called into another area where I sat and waited for 30 minutes, and I seen all the other girls, and I thought they had went through got an abortion as long as it took, but there was some other girls. They had me change clothes, get into a gown, and basically I was naked under the gown and stuff, and they gave me this medicine to take or something. It's like a strong painkiller or something like that for me to take and stuff. And I waited, and I think I started seeing them call different girls, and they went, and I didn't know where they went or what was going on with them. But then when they called me, it was my turn to go into the room it was like a doctor room and stuff. They had me sit up on this like bed or something, and they had a thing where like they spread your legs open and stuff, and like so they can kind of see or whatever. And they let me lay down or whatever while I was kind of waiting. And then like there was like two girls, and they kind of explained to me what was going to happen. And there was another lady on the side. It was like two ladies there, and they was like, okay, so we're gonna tell you what's gonna happen, how this is gonna go. So we're gonna, they kind of told me what they were gonna do. And I don't remember word for what they said, but they were gonna put something up, my vagina, and then they were going to pull, the sac or whatever, pull it out or whatever. And they had to pull it out of like, I think my uterus or something or whatever and stuff. And there was a lady holding my hand and stuff, and I really liked how I could be comforted. Now there was a guy that did come in, and they said the only reason he was coming there was because he was going to feel inside me to see if I was going to be, like it was still there if the stuff came out or whatever. And I would tell people like getting an abortion is not really as scary, especially with Planned Parenthood. Like it's not as bad as people are saying. It's actually something where they are supportive, they care about you, you know what I'm saying? And I actually like it was a little painful because they were like, you're gonna feel a pinch and stuff like that, and man, that pain was crazy. But I will tell you, when they were pulling pulling it out, like a sack out or whatever, when they were doing that, then I felt this inside me. I felt this. It was like knowing that, I don't know what it was, but I guess it was like the child, the spirit of the child I was going to have, him not wanting to go, and I was just kind of overwhelmed by that. But I was at peace with him leaving, because I was like, I didn't want to bring him into a situation where we couldn't feed him or clothe him or not let him have lights or anything like that. I'd always said if I had a kid, I'll make sure I could provide for everything for the child. It would be on me to do it. And so I just feel like it's something for me that, like going through that experience, it does take some healing. You know, I was glad though after the procedure and stuff, I got to get up and walk out of there, and they had me sitting in this area, sitting on these beds, or where I could see the other girls and stuff, and I kind of laid down in this bed and stuff in this other area, and kind of laid down. I was cramping and stuff because, you know, because of what had happened, because my uterus got freaking out a little bit. And they gave me some, they brought me some juice and like some cinnamon graham crackers with sugar on it and stuff, and I got to eat it and stuff or whatever. And, you know, I just felt happy that, you know, I felt happiness in that moment, that I knew like I did the right thing, you know, and that they were so caring and compassionate. Because so many people will bash Planned Parenthood so bad. People will do that, but they don't even understand the things that they do for people. And they help me, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm appreciative that that happened, because if you go to a regular hospital, they're not going to tell you where you can get an abortion or anything that can help you. They're not going to tell you that at all. You know, a lot of people think, oh, the hospitals care. Please, I can tell you some stories.
Planned Parenthood was really good. They was giving out free condoms. They was giving out for people. They was teaching people about birth control methods, so you don't got to come there for abortions. They was treating. They was talking about women was in there for getting checked for breast cancer, so that they can catch it early, or if they ever got it. And so it's a whole different stuff.
And they were doing stuff for like vasectomies and stuff, and all types of stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot more people that go to Planned Parenthood that people will let on about. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that go. You know, and I saw a lot of people in there, couples in there. I saw this guy that had a daughter in there, and he was there with supporting his daughter getting an abortion. You know, because he knew it was his daughter's choice of what she wanted to do. You know, there's a lot of people in there. You know, and I think that just seeing all the people, because there was a lot of people. Now, I will tell you, outside the Planned Parenthood clinic, there were some church people and all this other kind of shit, you know, trying to say that people should have babies and stuff. And I, you know, some years later after that, I stopped outside Planned Parenthood and talked to those people. They had those signs and everything about why women should have the baby and everything. And I asked this lady that had the sign, I said, hey, I said, so you're telling me if I were pregnant and you guys are telling me I should have a baby, then, okay, let's say I go through and have the baby. So if I do, and you guys say you're going to be supportive of me, so are you going to let me stay in your house and you're going to take care of me and my kids or whatever that I have, you know, and the new baby I have and stuff? And the lady was like, no. And I was like, oh, so basically you're telling me you are telling people to have kids, but you're not going to do anything to support them. Oh, well, we know some charities and stuff and they can help you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, lady, you know, I'm over here like, lady, you full of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you get girls condom and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, there was these girls, it was two girls that was in a car, and they overheard what that lady said to me after I had got my thing done, you know, years ago, like a couple years after my procedure was done. And these two girls was convinced that they should go get abortions because of people. I bet you it was people like that lady said, oh, you should have a baby, blah, 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 blah. But they weren't going to help those girls. You know, and I'm like, I'm glad I was there to point out the foulism and bullshit of those church people that was over here trying to get them to have babies. When the girls, you know, because they was thinking, oh, if I have a baby, I guess, because they was having second thoughts about having an abortion. But when they heard that lady who was a church person say that she wasn't going to support them and that they can go to some, you know, some like volunteer people or whatever that can help them and stuff. And I was saying, well, what places are they going to go to that can help them? Oh, well, we know some places that they can go to, blah, blah, blah. But that's not going to raise no baby. They ain't going to give you no damn money to feed that child, clothe the child. They ain't going to provide you with no job if you're the parent. They ain't going to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? That lady couldn't name any charities either. So it is what it is. I'm actually glad that I went through and got the abortion. And I'm glad to this day that I did, because, you know, my life will not be the way that it is. I have things I'm aspiring to do. And, you know, I work with people that have kids and stuff, and there's days they can't even come into work. I can cover work because I don't have kids, you know. And if you Black and you trying to get a job, it's tough. It ain't no easy stuff, you know, where, you know, you have a baby and get, you know, you can balance having a job and make all this money. It's not like that. You know, I've applied to jobs and I got a college degree. I got a bachelor's degree in management with an emphasis in international business. I expect to get any kind of damn job easy and be making shit 50, 60,000 a year. Actually, I expect to make $100,000 a year with my degree. But guess what? I'm not making that. I'm in a job where it's only required to have a high school diploma because I wasn't able to get jobs because people was too intimidated because of how smart I was. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've been through hundreds of interviews and I was the perfect fit for jobs and I wasn't able to get one. So if I would have had a kid, think about that. Think for real, think about that. You know, now people are gonna say, can you go to your family, blah, blah, blah. But then my family would say it. And other people would have said, well, you know, you had the baby, so now you got to take care of it. Now you're responsible for it, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't have a baby if you couldn't deal with it. And so we took responsibility before the baby got here. Now, I would say when you're pregnant, you know, because I got my abortion just in time, too, because it was at 9 weeks. And if I would have gotten any further after that, I don't believe I would have been able to get it or whatever. But I got it just in time, and I'm glad that I did. And after I walked out the abortion place after my procedure, I felt so much better. I didn't feel sick or anything. I might have been medicated, but I didn't feel sick. I bled for a couple of days, kind of like a period, but I was cool. You know, and when the next week when it came back to me going to school, I felt good. I felt like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better, you know, than I did. So I was glad that I even went through it. Now, after that, it says we started using VCF. So what did you?
So after that, I was like, okay. Well, the unfortunate thing about birth control methods, the only way to know which way works right for you is to discover the ones that work wrong for you. And the only way to discover which ones work wrong for you is a pregnancy happens. That's the only way to discover that, okay, you need to try something else. That's the one thing that sucks about finding the right type of birth control that works right for you. So we started using VCF because she still wanted to feel stuff, so I still wasn't using condoms again. But instead, we used a birth control that we could get at Walmart, and I started using VCF. Now, I did start using some condoms at the time. I didn't use them all the time, but sometimes I would use them, sometimes I wouldn't. And the times I wouldn't, I would use VCF because there was times where she's like, I don't want that fucking condom, it's slimy thing. I don't want that damn thing. You know, I want to feel something tonight. I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm like, let me use this VCF. It's a vagina contraceptive film you get at Walmart. It's like, it's $9.97, and it's oh my bad, it's a 9 count. I had written it down and everything, but that's what it is. And so you fold it once, fold it twice, and you stick it in the vagina all the way towards the back, and it's supposed to block all the sperm, and it's like
cervix or something.
Yeah, from the cervix. So it's supposed to block all the sperm and kill it, so that no pregnancy happens. So I started using that instead.
Okay, so let's see. So next topic is, it says took away ring because you felt less than a boyfriend.
Okay, so at some point, I don't necessarily remember what the argument was, but I just remember feeling so bad.
Oh, this might have been the one where I think that was when we had the argument or something. Because we had been arguing for a while because we've had arguments throughout our relationship a lot.
Now we was Christians too, praying at home,
going to church,
and praying at dinner, and praying at night, and praying with the Bible between us, with us holding hands, and both going to church. I go to her church with her. She go to my church with me. With people praying over us with the Holy Ghost, with all that stuff. Like there's really power there. Like there's really something going on. So we was really doing that. Okay, she got baptized. I was already baptized, and but still, repenting to God, repenting to Jesus, which was a big problem, actually.
Well, I wasn't baptized. So the thing was, here's the thing. When I was born, I was christened. So I had, a christening and stuff when I was a baby. So for me, there was no point in getting baptized again because as a baby, I was christened. So because my parents are really big deal into, the baby being christened and stuff, that's like baby being baptized. So, you know, for me, hey, I was convinced that that's good enough for me. I don't need to do a second thing again. If it already happened, it happened. If my parents acknowledged it, they was cool with it, I was good with it. You know, might have been some years ago, but hey, it's good enough for me. That's what I thought. So, he had gotten baptized. I think you got baptized when you were a kid and stuff, you know. So yeah, so we had went through baptisms, I guess you could say, when we were kids. So that's enough. You don't have to get one when you're an adult. You know, I don't think it makes sense. But he took the ring away, I guess, because he felt less than a boyfriend. I guess he felt like I wasn't. And I don't know why. I guess you didn't feel like I was doing it.
Well, I mean, we was engaged, right? But I didn't feel like the affection wasn't there, the sex wasn't there, the oral pleasure wasn't there, the hugs wasn't there, the kisses wasn't there. I say welcome home, she would ignore me. So I just felt so damn low. It's like I don't even feel like a fucking boyfriend. So like I was like, you know what? Just give me the ring back. Just give me the ring back. Because obviously we're not engaged anymore. Because I don't even feel like this. And I was like debating, like, okay, well when the lease comes up, then it's over. I'm out of here. You can have your life back. Because basically, all this shit was compiling up for me. It was like, I got failures here. I got guilt here. I got failures here and here and here. And I'm like, so I'm basically fucking up all over the damn place. And I just felt like Michelle needed a fresh start. She needed not me. Because I'm obviously not working out. She, you know.
So the thing with the flash, so this kind of ties with a lot of stuff. So you took the ring back. I think a big thing was because we had a large argument. And that was like when my brother came over and I kind of wanted to spend some time with Anwan and stuff, but Anwan was like, you know, my brother wanted to hang out, and that's cool. You know, I love my brother and everything, but I think it was a day where, like, I wanted to have time with him, but my brother came over, and we had the argument started with pizza and everything, and it was something where, like, I think that, you know, when you have family members around, when you and the other, like, you and your significant other, or trying to work on stuff, and then they're around, it kind of escalates things in a way because, you know, I didn't feel like I could talk, you know, because my brother was here, blah, blah, blah. So me and Anwan got into an argument, and what happened is that and I think I felt like, you know, we started yelling at each other and stuff or whatever. And what happened is I took the ring and I threw it at him. And then he started bleeding or whatever and stuff. And of course, my brother left because, you know, we were arguing and stuff like that and stuff. And that didn't go over too well. And then Anwan started getting like flashbacks or whatever because I threw the ring at him and stuff because he went through abuse and stuff. And he started like flashing back and everything.
I didn't know I had that condition. I never had that happen to me before ever. So like, I don't know. It's like my house, like the house or the apartment. The apartment turned into the room where I was the most physically abused in. And because like I saw blood because she threw the ring with the ring box. And so I don't know, somehow, I guess it hit me on the corner. I don't know, somehow I started bleeding from it. But I don't know, it freaked me the fuck out. And I was freaking out. So she had to like drive me to my mom's house.
I had to drive him to his mom's house because he was like in the flashbacks and stuff. So I drove him to his mom's house. He stayed at his mom's house for some time. And then when he came back, I ended up, I drove him there and I ended up going online and I start looking up something maybe to see if I could find some medicine that could help him with his flashbacks and stuff or whatever. And I thought I found something that could help. Like at a Target, and I drove really far out to this Target to try to get something, but I think the place was closed or something. So I just kind of sat in the car and stuff, and I felt like I was kind of like yelling and fussing and everything to myself and everything. It was crazy. With that, but he did like. I think after that, he ended up taking the ring away after, like, we still weren't working. And like he said, he was going to, you know, a lease was coming due. He was going to, you know, leave and everything. And, you know, I think maybe it was tension because of what we had went through, you know, with the, you know, pregnancy, with, you know, the family tension that I have. But with his family, I think it was just a whole lot of shit going on, you know, and I wasn't, you know, getting jobs and stuff. I think there was like a whole lot of shit that was going on. And, you know, and I think also because of the Christianity, like, I think it was just a whole lot of stuff. you know, and also people at his church were telling him, oh, well, you know, well, she can't go to his church and this and other. It's just like a whole lot of shit's being stirred up. So, and I think that's kind of what made things tense in all directions. And so he did take the ring back, say he's going to leave and stuff. And I was kind of like, no, don't leave. You know, let's just sign the lease and see if things get better. We've been together this long, you know. And he decided to like stay or whatever and stuff, so we can work things out, I guess, and stuff. But I think maybe it was just, you know, because we had a lot of shit we'd gone through, and I think there was a lot of stuff that we didn't realize that we were both hurt by. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
so I think that's probably what.
You know, I was just kind of like, what the hell are you with me for? Like, I done failed so many fucking times. I'm like, you act like you don't even like me. Like, why? Like, why are you saying me? Why do you want to stay with me? What for? What? You know? And it was just one of those things where it's like, I sure in the hell didn't feel very worthy at all.
So, he did take the ring, and I forget how long he had the ring for. For me, when he took the ring, I'm gonna honestly tell you in all honesty, like when he took the ring or whatever, I think because I was in the emotional state that I was in, you know, and stuff that I really kind of didn't give a care, like I didn't really give a damn about it, because I was just like, well, you know, I was thinking it wasn't gonna happen, and that kind of guy, more, you know, because I kind of didn't, you know, I think it was just a lot of things going through my mind, you know what I'm saying, because of the depression I have and everything, and just everything happening. So what happened is I ended up getting the ring back at some point. I can't remember when he gave me the ring back, but I ended up getting the ring back. I don't know why I got the ring back, but how did I get the ring back? What the hell was that? I forget.
Well, something happened to you. Like, after I took the ring back, you was doing more stuff around the house. And, like, you started showing more affection, more like you started to care about me. So I was like, okay, at least I feel like I'm at least a boyfriend again. So you know what? Here, you can have the ring back. At least I feel like, you know, you love me again somehow, because something changed about you after that. And so I just, you know, you was like doing great. So I just gave it back to you. So
I got the got the ring back. It's not like I wore the ring anyway, but we put it back in the closet. So I told people again, I'm engaged again. People were all happy. Oh, you're engaged, oh, this and that, whatever. You know, and when's the wedding, blah, blah, blah. I still don't got no wedding date. I still got other things I'm doing right now. At the time, I was like, I don't know, we'll see, maybe in this time or whatever.
I remember telling her, I was like, okay, you know, after the abortion thing, I was like, you know, we'll get married and stuff like that. And so afterwards, I tried to save. I was like, okay, let's start saving. And she didn't like saving. But I mean, that was the only way I was going to marry her. I was like, I have to save. But she didn't like that. So that never happened.
So let's see. So I think you said, so he said here that, so after we got engaged again, then what we decided to do, was we decided to go towards getting marriage counseling. So with the marriage counseling thing, what ended up happening with that was, I found this lady who was a premarital counselor. We sat down with a lady. We had to pay $100 and some or whatever, sit and talk to this lady. I feel like at the point we had, I don't feel like she did anything. I feel like it was more of a talking session than anything, and not any advice on how we could do good in marriage. I didn't think that she really did good with that. But, you know, the lady asked me about my family, you know, relationships I have with people in my family, what I thought about marriage, blah, blah, blah. She asked him about what his family was about, like, and with marriage and blah, blah, blah. We were both sitting in a room, and then she had a point in time where, you know, she sat with us privately and asked questions and stuff and talked to us. And then after she's done with me, then he came in, she talked to him. And then what happened when she was talking to you?
Well, when she was talking to me, about what was my life like growing up with my family. Well, I had reached into my subconscious and I grabbed out this death bag of just abuse baggage and all the baggage, and I was bringing out all this stuff. And that was the first time I had brought anything out since I slept for 48 hours straight when I was like 17 when my mom got custody of me again. And so that's the first time I ever brought that out and talked about it. And so that's what happened with me. And I was like 2 minutes in and talking about the abuse. I went to this. But then he's like, okay, I can't help you with this stuff. Oh my God, I can't listen to it anymore. You need to find professional help, other type of help, but not for this.
And so Anwan ended up going to another counselor that could help with the abuse that he went through and everything. With that, I found it stressful to me that he was going like to counseling every Saturday and stuff, and I didn't get a chance to go, and I kind of had to wait in the car for like an hour and stuff. I would like listen to music and everything. And I kind of felt like, I didn't like, having him going to counseling. I didn't like that at all. And I kind of thought it was like kind of a waste of time and everything. To me, it was, because I was like, I thought it was because then he was telling me like, I was like, oh, what was counseling like? He's like, the lady's like, oh, well, maybe you should, break up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I hate this shit. So, I forget why you stopped going to counseling.
Oh, I was going to counseling because that activated pain. Like when I got hit, like back when I used to get hit, like with this board or 2x4 board, whatever, with nails sticking out, and I would get all these fucking puncture wounds in my legs and in my hands and arms and stuff. Well, I would at work, like my vision would see me getting hit with the board with the blood coming out and the puncture wounds. And then I would get this pain in my knees and in my hands in the spots that it would hit. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it was kind of like, I had to keep on refocusing, like touching stuff. And she has to give me different methods of that I'm here in the moment. I'm not back then. I'm not there being abused at that moment. I'm here, to make the pain stop. And like, I just kept seeing it happening to me. And so I had like chew really minty gum, like mint cubes or whatever the heck they're called, and I would have to like splash my face with water, and I would have to like touch fabric and rub the surfaces, and that, just to stay present. So after that happened, and the pain of the memories would fade away, that's when I stopped going. I felt like, okay, I have to know how to stay present.
I think
not being stuck in those memories.
I think if we had never went to premarital counseling, I think if we had never went, maybe that would have been something that never came up. It would have been something that kind of would have, I think it probably would have never came up. If he would have never had to talk about it personally, I think it would have just been something that just stayed in his subconscious. And some people, and it might be difficult for people to watch it and to understand that part of like, of him having flashbacks and stuff. And yeah, I think that in one way the premarital counseling did more harm than good, but I think it's good that it helped him, even though like I don't understand how it helped, like that experience of understanding, even though I don't understand it, like at least it did something to help him, so he didn't like get stuck in the past, you know what I'm saying? And it helps them like move forward. So I think that's
we found the good thing is we found a website called Prologue.
Well, we found Prologue after, so he went to church one day, and we were talking to Pastor and his wife, and they were talking about Prologue or something. And I didn't go to church with him or anything, but he liked going to church, and it would take 2.5 hours for him to get back from church and all that stuff. And that caused us to have arguments and stuff, because my church was an hour, like 50 minutes. His church was like 2.5 hours, 3 hours and shit. And I didn't understand that.
I stayed the whole time because I needed as much Holy Spirit and Jesus and God as I can get.
Well, anyway, and I don't mean to offend people, but I just think it's is full of shit personally, that it takes 3 hours, you know what I'm saying? Especially if the Catholic Church could do it in 50 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Get through the sermon, get, 5 minutes on a sermon, we go through the same routine, you know what I'm saying? 50 minutes, you're done, type of thing, get the car, leave, you know what I'm saying? So I think it was more time oriented too that I guess I was about to. I just liked how short it was and organized the service was. His was a little more sporadic, and they would do tons of prayer and music and everything, and yeah. So so you said oh, we did do prologue. So we did prologue. Prologue is an online test, and we both took it separately. We answered questions about, I guess, like our relationship and about marriage and what we would expect, blah, blah, blah. And then on the test, we compared notes at the end of it. And at the end of it, then he found out that, like, we were at an impasse, you call it, because I found on the test that he didn't want to have kids. And we found out some things, but I think that was the major thing, wasn't it?
Finances and kids, because I didn't want to have kids, but she did.
Yeah. And finances, I think, what was it about the finances? I don't even remember.
But our biggest one that we were stuck on was the kid thing.
Yeah, the kid thing was really something that we both were concerned about.
Yeah, and some of the stuff was like, we should do a video one day and go through that. Yeah, that should be a video. But it was just the kid thing and the finances, like what she agrees with finances versus what I agree with finances and stuff.
Yeah, how I would spend money is different than how he would spend money in the household and stuff. So, and the kid thing, I was kind of surprised because I'd heard that Aaron came from a family where he was the oldest, so I was kind of taken aback by the fact that he didn't want to have kids, because I thought, hey, we could be great parents, I thought that could be something we could do, especially since I went through an abortion. So I was just like, well, I think after that, it was kind of like, what, type of shit. And I think the kid thing, I think it was hurting because of the abortion thing.
Well, shoot, I would Michelle would go to bed at night. And when Michelle would go to bed, I would get up, I would not sleep, and I would go find the sonogram. And I would be in the front room crying over it, saying, I'm sorry I failed you, and I didn't mean for this to happen, and I'm not having no kids, and I'm not doing this, and I'm never letting her go through that shit again. Now I'm being more careful now. I'm using VCF, I'm using the birth control method, a real one, and some shit like that.
So you said also we would have got divorced at 2 arguments or something. We would have got married.
Yeah. So if I would have got married to her first, I would have gotten divorced at some of the arguments. One of our arguments, she made fun of me being molested and stuff like that, and she was like, well, that's why you got effed in the ass, some shit like that. And I would have got divorced at that part, and I would have got divorced at the part where I took the ring back, because I felt like shit, and I didn't feel like I would bring flowers, didn't work, brought gifts, didn't work. Bring her food that I thought was her favorite food, that she told me was her favorite food, but then one day she didn't like that, didn't work. One day she cooked for me, I didn't come home, I came home a little late because I had to work late, and she had made a surprise for me, so she cooked for me. So then I was like, okay, cool. So one time I was home early, Michelle came home late, and I cooked for her, but we had an argument over that. She didn't like the fact that I cooked for her, and she didn't like that. And I'm like, why? But she said, I don't know. A lot of times in arguments, I got I don't knows, and I don't knows doesn't help me fix anything. And so I was just like, you know what? I would have got a divorce because it's obvious you don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Well, these things are really obvious in my face. So I would have got a divorce from her.
I think personally to me, I think if we would have gotten married, I don't think it would have been that thing. I think for me, I wanted to get married because I thought, like I said before in the video, in the video a lot of people didn't see, is that if I would have gotten married, I think that for me, marriage would have defined, okay, we're on another step. We've been together so many years. Okay, now we're husband and wife. Okay, now we're moving, we're on a, you guys know how you want to know what point you're in your relationship, and we've been boyfriend and girlfriend, we've been fiance. Okay, now the thing I thought, okay, now we're going to be husband and wife. That makes total sense. So this describes the next chapter of our relationship, which is, okay, because there's things I was doing. So I was doing cooking. I was doing like stuff. Basically, I thought I was doing like wife stuff. And I'm like, okay, if I'm doing like wife stuff, like washing clothes and cooking and blah, 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 then I'm supposed to be married. You know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to be doing what, you know, what a girlfriend, you know, like, because I was doing beyond girlfriend stuff. Plus, I was dealing with his family. So I was like, okay, so I should be married. That makes sense, you know, because I'm doing wife stuff now, you know, and if I'm doing wife type stuff, then I should be a wife at this point because that's what I'm doing. Because girlfriends don't wash their boyfriends' clothes. They don't do all that stuff. You know, y'all show up and have dates, but, you know, if you're going beyond that as a woman, then of course you could get married. That was what my philosophy was, is that because I was doing stuff that I thought a wife would do. That's why I felt the way that I did.
But see, for the issue with me was that I was doing those things so damn often that it was hard, really hard for me to notice the times when she was doing it because I was working and doing it. So when it's like the times that she did do it, it was twice out of the week or some shit like that, or once out of the week. You know what I'm saying? Or like then once out of the week would equal to 4 times out of the month, and then I would have all the other days. So I was having just the hardest time grasping my head around that, you know, yes, you are. But see, this is how afterwards I started getting better, and I started, like, after I got to Christian, I started writing shit down and stuff like that. And so that helps me keeps track of, okay, she actually did this many times out of the month, and I actually did this many times out of the month.
I really feel like,
and that's going to help me in my decision making way later on down the road on, am I comfortable with how much she participates?
Well, I think that there's for me with marriage, like to tell people the truth, like with marriage, I used to be so excited about marriage. Like I used to be really happy about that, but now I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, because to me, I've gone through a lot of things that I feel like I should be married by now. Like in my opinion, I should be. But, you know, he doesn't feel like that. And he has certain things, like, since, you know, he's learned things, I've learned things, we've kind of grown, you know, in age and stuff. But I mean, I kind of think, like, if we do get married, that will be kind of a miracle if it happens, you know, type of thing. Because I think that when he started getting a backbone and stuff, like he talks about, when he started doing that, and that was at a time when I was, like, what was the point when he was doing the backbone? Because you didn't talk about that.
Okay, so that's next?
No, that was before, but you should talk about that.
Oh, okay. So basically, in our arguments, I did the one thing guys shouldn't do, okay? But I was raised by a lot of women, and I really wasn't raised by my dad that often, okay? Even though he had custody of me for a certain amount of time, I just wasn't, I wasn't able to see the backbone even through his marriage. So I would, like, oh, Anwan, you know, women, you gotta show emotion. So I was okay with crying in front of my woman, okay? And that was a fucking no-no, okay? Because that just gets you stomped on way worse, and you are a fucking doormat after that. So one day, I don't know, something switched inside, and I was just like, you know, would you want me to make you cry? And then I felt like that, like I stood up for myself. And then the biggest point was when I was going to go see my friend Tony, and she was like, oh, you're not going to go see any friends? You better not be going to go see your friends. And I went to the door, and I just said, and I had my hand on the doorknob, and I just said, you know what? Like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do, when I want to do, how I want to do. And I don't even care if you're here when I get back. We can be broken up. I don't even care anymore. Because I guess we went through certain amount of times you argue, you just realize I'm with the wrong person. In the end, I just realized, you know what? Damn, I'm with the wrong person. And so I was like, she can leave if she wants to, but I'm going to do whatever I want to. I'm tired of not being happy. I'm tired of walking on eggshells. I got to do something to make me happy. So that's when I got my first, like, backbone. I just kept that after that. I just kept it.
I think what happened is that he started listening to, I think Tom Likas or something. That's who you started listening to or something after that.
Because I was wanting to know what the hell was I getting myself into with this marriage thing, because I don't know anything about it. So when I started listening to men's experiences and the laws that are different for men versus the laws that are with women, like I didn't know about alimony. I didn't know how child support really worked, even though I was a product of child support. I didn't know about alimony. I didn't know stuff about splitting half of everything you earn. I didn't know that judges were ruling things on your own. You know, I didn't understand those type of things.
Oh, your sister did say something though.
Okay,
about that.
we're answering all the comments and saying hi to everybody at the end of the video. So don't worry.
You say hi, but
Hi, Tian.
So I think that here's what happened. So to explain something. So when he was learning about that, you know, men's experience, blah, 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 and we were still engaged, okay? When he was telling me stuff about the men experience and all that stuff, when he was saying all that, this was during a time where I was like really excited about being engaged and getting married, blah, blah, blah. So hearing all that shit that I heard about the guy's experience, like that really rained on my parade, so to speak, to the point where I'm like, damn, I'm guessing that I'm never going to get married. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of those things because of the stuff he was bringing, you know what I'm saying, to me with about this experience, that experience, blah, blah, blah. And my thing was, okay, well, that's not our experience. A lot of the people you're listening to, like, that's not our experience. They haven't been through what we've been through. You know what I'm saying? And there were certain like promises and things that were made during our relationship and stuff. So my thing was, well, they haven't went through that, you know, and if, you know, there was a promise after I went through, you know, like the procedure like I did, then there should have been no going back on anything. Fuck their experience. That's what my perspective was, because I was like, well, and I was really excited, but then I kind of felt like, damn, you know, if he's going to bring all this other shit while I'm really excited about getting married, you know, then I guess then there is not going to be, you know, any getting married if he's basing our relationship off of other people, you know what I'm saying? And for a lot of people watching, like they probably would, you know, like you guys, you know, we watch it, but, you know, my thing is that it kind of came at a bad time for him to tell me all that stuff. It was a good time for him, bad time for me, because it was like, you know, well, damn, you just kind of fucked up the, you know, my mood in terms of marriage. And that's when I kind of lost that feeling of wanting to get married. I kind of lost that. It kind of died in a sense, because it was like, oh, so if it's such a bad thing, then, you know, then fuck it, you know, type of shit, you know, okay, we're engaged, but, you know, I think just hearing that information made it for me like he was basing our relationship off of what other people happened with other people. And, you know, their experience wasn't our experience. So I think that's kind of how I am about our relationship in a way, like, you know, that's why I kind of have that it'll be a miracle if we did get married type of shit, because all the stuff that I feel like, you know, that we've gone through together and stuff. So, yeah. So it is, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm just saying that, you know, I do care about the things that, you know, he's passionate about. And I understand that, and about guy stuff, I get that. But, you know, to me, I'm not those other people. You know, I'm not, you know, like, and those people are not even the same race I am. So to me, it's like that doesn't really matter, because we haven't even tried it out. But one thing that did make sense was when I started reading this book. It's like this marriage book that I started reading. And then the guy in that book started talking about, well, when you get married, you know, before you guys get married, you know, you have to make sure you know about this and that in your household and everything, and start setting things up for marriage. So when you do get married, things are better. So I think that's when I started to understand a little bit more. I've kind of grown a little bit more because I've aged a couple more years. So, you know, especially when I turned 25, then I was start being more understanding about things and what he was saying with that regard. So, yeah. So I think the next thing we're getting to.
I was trying to figure out, like, well, how do I protect myself from the laws that screw men over with marriage and stuff like that? And it was like, well, a prenup or whatever. I was like, okay, well, I'll do that, since that's way cheaper than a divorce, than like paying alimony and stuff like that. And I was just really upset about it, because I was like, you know, what the hell is that? And it's like, well, it's basically women gets money, for you having sex with her over a certain period amount of time. And then I was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, they're going to turn my woman into a fucking prostitute where they give her money for having sex with me? I was like, I don't like that whole prostitute aspect, so I'm just going to kill that right there.
Well,
and it's like legal prostitution.
I think my defense to that is I'm not that type of person, and I'm not the same race as the people doing it. So, to me, I don't think that's something I would be doing. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's not something I come from. Maybe those women come from this stuff where their mom does that to their, dad, or like the mom does stuff to their husband, but that's not what I'm doing.
I mean, that's what she says, but she hasn't listened to as many of the stuff and experiences that I listen to, because I have to gravitate and gather stuff from men who are older than me, since I didn't have a lot of the experience with my own dad. You know what I'm saying?
And
so I have to get stuff
and
know-how from other freaking guys.
And that's
because I'm a guy.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead. Well, it's because I'm a guy. These things, like, she talks about, okay, well, race. I'm like, well, some of them are black. The thing is that it doesn't go off of race. These laws go off of gender, not race. So it doesn't matter what race you is or what race you are. It's about the gender you are.
So I think so next week is, let's see, the next one I think it says the next thing was what's the topic? Pregnant through VCF, that experience. Yeah, so I ended up having, for people watching, so I did end up getting pregnant for a second time, and this was because we were using birth control at the VCF, and it failed. So I ended up pregnant again, and that basically with that, I still was not in a good position. I still was not in the career job I wanted to be in. And we were okay. Things were working okay. We were in a better sense of our relationship. Now, what made this different with me, the second pregnancy, was that we both were no longer Christians anymore. And it came because basically, I think all the years of us going through the stuff that we did and it not making our relationship any better, that Christian stuff making it any better, even though we've been Christians for years, because it didn't make it any better, then, and he was learning stuff about it. I was learning stuff about Christianity. We both were learning. And, I think what made us more loving and caring towards in the second pregnancy was because we started to learn about our history. We started to learn about why things were not working for us as Christians, and we started to get it, what I'm saying, with the Bible, Jesus, God, all stuff. We started to understand that, and through research and stuff, through YouTubers we were watching, through actually reading the Bible, actually understanding. And I think this is something that made us better.
Yeah, because what would happen was that we wouldn't apologize to each other correctly, okay? When we was Christians, we used the cop-out way. Instead of apologize, like I would say sorry, but I couldn't say sorry the way that she wanted, or I couldn't understand the argument the way that she wanted. Like, in the arguments, I would get so wrapped up in the argument that I would forget what the fuck I'm arguing for, what started the whole thing. So I wasn't even like making points, and it kept recreating the same argument because I never addressed the initial point of the argument, because it would veer off somewhere else, and I would totally forget what we was arguing about. So instead of saying I'm sorry for this, or saying sorry or apologizing the correct way, I would go to church. And I would go to church and I would say sorry to Jesus, and I would repent to Jesus, or I would repent to God, or I would repent to the Holy Ghost. But instead of, I would say sorry to them and say sorry at church and say sorry when I'm praying, but and I would say sorry at night, but I would never say, sorry in the correct way to her. So she was still feeling like whatever type of shit I left her feeling as. And same thing with me. I would still feel as whatever type of shit that she would leave me feeling as. Anything I did good, that would be thank you, Jesus, for that. Or thank you, God, for that. Anything I did bad would be my fault. But if I did good, it would be Jesus, because it's Jesus, or because of God. So we was always not, we did not take responsibility for our actions, really, for ourselves. And we did not apologize to each other correctly, because we didn't feel the bond. Our apologies always went to a God, because every time you went to church, they always made you try to feel better. Doesn't matter what you did, give it all to God, give it all to Jesus, just pray about it, repent about it, just give it all to God. Doesn't matter what you did. It's okay, and that shit would hurt us relationship wise.
So with this, like I was saying, the second pregnancy, it was something where once we left, once we were no longer Christians and we basically, left Christianity, then our relationships did start to get better. We started to be more considerate of each other. And we started to feel better because as we've done research about our history and our ancestors and different stuff, as we've done that, and it has made us feel better about who we are and stuff.
And being black. I didn't even know I had astigmatism until after I watched a couple of videos. First main two ones I watched from the Real Merkaba on YouTube. One is called "It's Time." I posted it before. One is called "It's Time for the Truth." The second one is called "That's Game: The Bible and Christianity Finally Explained." And then the last one.
You said two.
Yeah, that was the main two. I'm sorry, that was the main two.
And so I think as we've learned about our history, about our ancestors, and we've learned about the truth about what we were subscribed to. Because when you're a Christian and you're subscribed to the religion of Christianity, you're going along with it because of your family, and you think that if you do everything you're told, then you pray and you give money to tithe and you do everything right, you think everything's going to help. And, I think for me, it was good to let go of Christianity, because when I was not getting a job, then, and we prayed, together, we went to church, prayed and stuff like that, and I still didn't get a job, even though I had a degree and everything, then I think that was what helped me get out of it. And, now I live a better and happier life, because now I realize that I'm in control of what I get, you know what I'm saying? And I realize that I'm the one that's going to control my future. I can't leave it up to a Jesus or a God to help me do that, And, another reason why I don't subscribe to Christianity is because I've seen them playing in life. I had, I talked about my Aunt Mary that passed last year. My aunt had went through so much stuff. She went through losing her legs. She was basically down to one arm, okay? And she was a Christian, and she believed wholeheartedly in everything, watching this stuff on TV, the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And as my aunt went through diseases and losing her limbs and stuff like that, but yeah, she still stayed cheerful and happy and everything, and praying and stuff, and seeing people get healed on TV and stuff, and that never happened to her, and she, I talked to her, I think it was January of 2017, and I what was it, January of 2000, I think it was 18. I talked to her in January 2018 because I went to this family gathering, and she was really supportive because I was visiting my dad's family, and they weren't treating me so nice. And so I was talking to her, and, my aunt was really nice, and, supportive. And she said she was going to the doctor. And I was like, okay, you're going to be okay? She's like, yeah, I feel fine. They're probably just going to give me some medicine or whatever. So I didn't talk to her. I said I was going to talk to her. I didn't talk to her for a couple weeks and or a while. And then I found out she's in the hospital. Went to see her in the hospital. I find out that she had gotten operated on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what the hell, And what ended up happening is that I guess she didn't make it through the operation or whatever. And I seen her after the operation, but I guess from her wounds or something, she died from it or whatever. And that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? The very person who is charismatic and loving and caring and everything. My aunt was the type where, she didn't care who you were. You could come in and eat some food and sleep on the couch if you needed to. You know what I'm saying? Even the people that was friends of the family and whatever, So losing my aunt was sucky, you know what I'm saying? It was fucked up, And the craziest thing is that when we went to visit my aunt and she was in the hospital and stuff, and she was on the whatever the stuff was, the hospital gave her and stuff, unconscious or whatever, she could see, but she couldn't talk or whatever. The craziest thing was that there was this lady that was visiting her from my uncle's side of the family. So my aunt had been married, and his side of the family was visiting. And what happened is this lady was there, and she was there with a cross and a Bible, and she was talking about, oh, I'll pray and this and other, just keep praying, blah, blah, blah. Well, that prayer didn't help because my aunt passed. That Jesus, that God, that Bible didn't do anything. Okay? That's when I was more convinced than anything that, you know, if on TV they show these healings and all that stuff, if this is really true, then my aunt would still be here. Actually, she wouldn't even have had to go through that. She would have been healed entirely. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people need to really think about this stuff. Like, if this Christianity is real, then, you know, and Jesus can walk on water, then why wasn't my aunt able to be healed? You know what I'm saying? Why did she have to go through what she did and all the diseases? Why? You know? So, yeah, and I think I lost a couple people because of that, but for real.
They went away too.
Yeah, they went away, and they would probably went away, and maybe could have because they had to, but I'm just for real. You know, we got to be for real shit here. You know, we can't just be like, oh, well, you know, oh, well, it's all good and everything, and then something hits at you. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like, you got to be for real.
Let me tell you, after watching The Real Merkabus, That's Game, the Bible, Christianity Finally Explained, and after watching the one that said It's Time for the Truth, I sat her down too. We both watched it. You know, and I looked at Michelle and I was like, baby, we what we got. It's us. We what we got. Okay. The best thing was that on I believe it's one called, there was a one that was called it was one about his race. I think it was called There Is No Denying the Fact of Where Black People Received the Bible from the Real Merkabah. It was either that one or one that was called
no, it's no religious debate. Though.
There's no religious debate on how Black people received the Bible. It was either in that one or it was in, I'm trying to remember, The Calculated Destruction of the Black Woman and Black Man, or
it was some of them.
How little do we forget that this is still a trap. It was one of those three where they went through and they was talking about in ancient Kemet and in Songhai and in the ancient Kemet Empire, Mali Empire, Kumasi Empire, Benin Empire, and Kilwa Empire.
Benin.
Benin. Those empires were Black empires that before the Bible ever came in, that we was already masters in trade and masters in business before we knew anything of a Jesus or anything of a God or anything of a Bible or any of that stuff. Before we knew anything about Christianity, we was already masters in trade and business and stuff like that. And I was like, oh crap! So we actually don't need this Bible. We actually don't need the whole Jesus thing to be successful, because that's what I used to think. And then that's when I discovered, oh shit, I actually had astigmatism. And I used to think that like developing business was only for white people and some shit like that. But that helped me feel better. And that's when I looked at my baby and I was like, all right, baby, what we got? You know, this is where the bond happened. And I started working on our relationship, writing things down. When an argument came up, I would write things down. You know, stuff that she would do around the house, I would write things down. I think start doing that.
I think also the reason why you left Christianity was because you lost your dream job after putting in Tide. I think that was.
Oh yeah, because my pastor was like, well, God will bless you, running, shaking over, and God will bless you, you know, if you put in some of your rent money and put in your full 10% in your tithe. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. But when I did that on that Sunday, 3 days passed, and I ended up getting fired from the job, my dream job, and I was making all the good money. And this is where I started a GoFundMe, because we wasn't able to keep up with rent and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, we need help with rent. Well, maybe there's some Christians that'll help us. But no Christian donated, not $1. Nobody.
Yeah,
not on
Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook. I posted it once every week for 2 months, and nobody donated anything.
And I put it on my Facebook too.
Yeah, and there was no Christian donated anything. So that's when it was like, you know what, damn, I guess this really is bullshit. And I guess when they say, you know, amen, hell Jesus, and all that stuff on Facebook, it's all just a bunch of bullshit, because in reality, they really not going to donate shit to you if you need the help anyway. So
I think something just to say is that for us, we found that Christianity didn't work for us, and we know it doesn't. And we've come out and we've been better because of it. You know, has that made our bills cheaper? Well, no, of course not. But it's allowed us to work together and consider each other more, which is what we're in a better state in now. Now with regard, with regards to my second pregnancy with that, where I got pregnant because of VCF, that one was more so because the VCF failed. And like he said, if a birth control works or not, if the effectiveness of the birth control. Like, so when that failed, then I ended up pregnant a second time. And this recently happened last year when I got pregnant. And with that one, we still were not in the right place. I still didn't have the kind of job I wanted to have. I still wanted to hold off. So I was planning on getting an abortion. But what ended up happening was I had went through a miscarriage. And that was scary in itself. And I could have lost my life from that. And I basically think that for the both of us, we were more together on things because we were spiritual, we knew our history, and we were more loving and caring and realized that we're a team and we're together on stuff. It's not just like with the first pregnancy where it was him, you know what I'm saying, and then it was me, it was more like, we were a team. So this time when I got pregnant, we were both talking. We were both present, you know what I'm saying? And I think that was something that I think made it better for me and more comfortable. But when I did go through I did miscarry unsuspectedly, and this was because of jobs, because I was trying to work jobs and stuff, and I got so stressed out from jobs and being gone off on these jobs by these managers and stuff that the stress caused me to miscarry. And no, I didn't end up getting a job or keeping a job. It didn't happen like that. You know what I'm saying? And because it stressed me out, I had a miscarriage. I could have lost my life because of all the blood that I lost, which sucked. What did you think about the miscarrying?
Well, we was in a Christian hospital, and I was expecting, if there was any time to get us back in Christianity, now would be the fucking time. If there was any time, now would be the time. Some Christian or some pastor can come up and pray and all this and that, and she can be instantly healed. And a lot of times that's Christians' reasoning why I believe in God and Jesus, because I've seen instant healings. Well, where the fuck was her instant healing at if nobody came? Okay, so no angel, nothing. It's funny how an angel can come in the Bible and destroy a whole city, but none can come and help out a black woman when she's going through a freaking miscarriage. That's real fucking funny. So then what happened is that 3 hours, it took her 3 hours to get her vitals checked. She got up and she was sitting on her coat. There was a pile of blood. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then I went with her, and the pile of blood was still on her coat in the chair. And they was trying to take blood. They kept taking fucking blood until her body refused to give any more blood. And I'm like, whoa. But then they took a little bit extra, and then she felt pain where the baby would have been, or the fetus, or whatever. And then she was all like, what the fuck, you hurt the baby? And then they're like, okay, well, we got enough. Like, it's funny how you got enough right after you do something like that. Then she comes back, and she comes and sits back down. We wait 3 more hours. No pastor shows up to do no instant healing. No Christians pray for her. Nobody in a Christian hospital. No one. Okay, so no angels, nothing. And then there was none of that. None of that stuff with the Holy Spirit going or none of that. So 3 hours passed. They finally caught her, and there's an even huger pile of blood. And she's pale, like she's not like pale like a white person, but the redness in your skin. When you do like that, you can see the blood come back. See that? And it comes back, like it's her. So this was not happening. That red, the blood coming back, that was not happening. It just stayed white. Okay. And I was like, all right, I'm probably going to lose this baby. So what do you want to give her a name? She's like, okay, well, how about Beatrice? And she's like, okay. When they called her after that, after we named it, we named the baby after we did that. Then it was like, then maybe that's what the baby wanted. Maybe that's what the baby spirit wanted. I don't know. But after that happened, then we got called and everything went into motion. But like when we got in the room, she pulled her pants down and stuff, and then it just fell out. I lost my fucking mind. I was like, we was there that long, and all that for the baby to fuck. Like, that's the worst thing. I said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm only using condoms from now on. Condoms only. And I'm like, and I'm going to get a fucking vasectomy. I'm going to Planned Parenthood. I'm getting a vasectomy. I wasn't expecting it to be $700 to $1,000. But I was like, and I'm still going to get that. I don't ever want her or another woman ever to go through that ever again, because she stepped in the blood and then she tracked the blood all around the room, and it was everywhere, and it was just globs. And then like she had like the little flesh thing of the fetus was like there, and they had to put it in a cup and some shit like that. And you know, the lady was like, "Oh, can I come in?" And Michelle was like, "No, I'm not decent." And the lady came in anyway. How disrespectful! And it was just like, I don't know. I'm done with that. I'm done.
I just think that for us, we've had experiences that across our relationship that's been like, you know, that at times it's tested our relationship and stuff. And I think like really like we're still growing in relationship and in our relationship and learning, you know, as a couple. And I think one of the things is the stuff that we've been through has made us better. Realizing the truth about the religion we're following has made us better. You know, it made us more aware of like things and insecurities we didn't know we had, you know, like stigmatism towards being black and thinking business only for white people. And, you know, I think that, you know, I can happily say that like I'm starting to more so think about what the things he says and realizing that him being different from me is one of the best things. Because, you know, there'll be times where I don't know what to do, but I'll ask him and he'll have this like solution, you know, I'm like, wow. And then he'll say something, he'll have a problem, and then I'll figure the situation out. So, you know, we've grown, we've evolved. We're still doing that. Do I want kids still? No. After going through what I've gone through, no. You know, I think like for me, I'm at the point where I'm prepared to get a surgery to not have children. Because I think I have to bear in mind the kind of person I am. You know, I'm a quiet person. I like having my, you know, quiet time when I want to read books or when I want to go to classes or different things and stuff like that. And, you know, just different stuff I want to do. I want to travel in my life. And I don't think that having children is something that will satisfy me in my life. You know, I don't think it is. I think it's one of those things where, you know, yeah, I love kids and stuff, and he got a niece, I got a nephew. You know, I think I would make, you know, I'm making a really good aunt. You know what I'm saying? So my nephew, I get a chance to send my nephew gifts for his birthday or Christmas and different stuff like that. And I'm okay with you know, being associated with a kid, you know, when I want to. You know, not a full-time deal, because like with work too, like with my job and stuff, like I told you guys, I got stuck in a snowstorm the other day. Like, you know, if I had a kid, like, you know, that it would be more stressful, because if I had to go get my kid from some babysitter and then I got stuck way far away from here than I was, that would have been stressful. So, you know, I just think it's better. And I want to travel around the world. You know, I want to be able to tell other Black people about, you know, our experiences and encouraging them to travel places and do stuff, you know. And I don't think a child really works. And I think that's why the pregnancies came when they did, you know, because, you know, does it mean we don't love the children that we, you know, the children that we would have had? Of course not. It doesn't mean that. Hell, we love them because at least we're not putting them in a fucked up situation. Because there's a lot of people who will just have a baby, you know, say if it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't planned, you know, it wasn't planned, but it was unplanned, like they won't have any responsibility taken. But for us, we're actually taking that responsibility and actually helping. And, you know, for us, like, we both will be able to help kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to volunteer at, like at a kid's school or something, or be a big sister or something like that, like where the big brothers, big sisters thing, I could do that, you know, and help kids out there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the best things, that he can help kids that may have gone through his experience. You know what I'm saying? We can actually help and do things, you know what I'm saying, that actually help, you know, rather than, you know, having kids. And people might say, oh, you guys will look good, you'd be a good mom, he'd be a good dad, blah, blah, blah. But I think now it's just one of those things where I'm like, you know, it's okay that we don't have kids. And I think this helps, like, especially with, you know, him, because he has a niece, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we can both be there for his niece, or not. We can both be there for my nephew, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we have siblings that they have kids, and, you know, he's uncle, I'm not. And I think that we would do good on the sidelines, not necessarily being, you know, the you know, the parents, you know. So I think that's just what works for us, you know. And, you know, I think I'm growing and I'm learning, and I think I'm happy about the fact that we're growing and learning our relationship, and I think we're only going to continue to get there. And the great thing is we're going to get a chance to experience success and do things we've always wanted to do. There's a lot of people who, you know, there's a lot of things on social media where they say, oh, you can have kids and still be successful. I don't believe that's true, because you would have to wait years after your kids grow up in order to be successful. I know people like to misrepresent that on social media, you know, where they say you can be successful and have a baby. Well, you know, show me, because I don't see it anywhere, you know. Did you have anything that you wanted to say to wrap up with any other thoughts about anything? I know we had a comment left that we wanted to.
Nope. I was just going to scroll up and say hi to the people who joined, and then.
So you said hi to your brother. You said hi to your brother.
So, Tony Fulcher, thank you for joining, bro. You say you look like Dad. I know. And Travis Rory, thanks for joining. Amber Nicole, thank you. Patrick Blocker, thank you. Tiana Fulcher, thank you. Mark Bush, thank you. And
Michael
Wyatt, thank you. Now we're going to get to
Tiana's comment.
Tiana's comments. All right, you go ahead and read it.
So Tiana said, and I was a bit late for us to get the comment, but it's easier because we can get everything we got to say out the way, and then, you know, then we can answer comments, because that just, you know, makes things easier for us and stuff. So she said, well, how long she has to wait to get married. From a girl point of view, no girl wants to do wife things, get engaged, and then nothing happens. It's like, what's the point? And I think for her, she's thinking that, I think she's understanding, like, I think she's coming from the point of view. So she first said, well, how long does she have to wait to get married? Well, do you want to answer that part about what she said, or do you want me to say what I think?
Okay, well, the thing is that she wants to do a destination wedding, which takes a lot of money. And the thing is that we both have to have enough money of income coming in order to pay for prenups and pay for this fucking shit. Yeah, in order to pay for prenups and stuff, so that we're both protected. Because you cannot depend on judges to make decisions, especially for Black people. You cannot depend on judges to make decisions for Black folks.
Okay.
So you have to have everything kind of written, and when this is what we were going to do. And so for a destination wedding, it takes money to get the plane tickets and fly out, and to get that set up, you know. So, and it also takes saving. If you have a certain amount of money coming in, and you don't have that much money that you can save, saving might take a long freaking time. And you have to be a saver type of mentality, or a save person. I can be a safe person. She does not have a saving mentality. So the income would have to be greater in order for that to happen. Also, pretty much at the end, when we do decide, I'm going to go through my calendar. I'm going to go through how much she participates weekly with the house, and how much times we have sex or oral sex or whatever, how much times we do that, how many times she did that stuff while working a job, and how many times she participated through taking care of the house while being off, because we're going to transfer this. We're in a small apartment right now. So that's going to transfer over to a big house. So how much responsibility am I going to be taking on with house-wise? So I have to go through my calendar, because she says that she does things when I just don't see. So when I do see, I make sure I write that shit down. At the end, I'm going to collect all that data and make my decision on, is this right for me?
So, let's see. So I'm going to go backwards. So she said, well, how long does she have to wait to get married? So as you can see from what he said, he's waiting to see, based off of the things that I do, the amount of sex, the housework and stuff. And it's okay for him to track that if that's what he wants to do, if that's what makes him feel better about going into it. And that's okay. What I will share about the whole getting married thing is the reason why I can understand where she's coming from is because, you know, for a woman, you know, you do want to get married when you're still young enough and you look pretty enough, you know what I'm saying, to take the pictures. That is something you want to do. You don't want to wait till you're 8 years old, you know what I'm saying, and you're in a cane walking down the aisle, you know what I'm saying? So I understand it, because there's a lot of women who imagine themselves at a certain time getting married, you know, and sometimes this happens before they even get into a relationship. And I think that is for her, I think it's that she's seeing that we've been together for a long time, and she's thinking, well, if they've been together for a long time, like we've been together for a long time, she's thinking, okay, well, surely they should be able to get married, you know, because maybe to her, what she's heard is that people, you know, they get married at a certain time.
But that's what causes divorces. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You see, because for me, I'm looking not to divorce. I don't want to divorce at all. Like I've chosen mine, so it's gonna be her. So I'm making sure that she knows all of me, even the me with money, the me without money,
how I know him without money. I've already experienced that while I was working and he wasn't. So I've experienced it already.
Yeah. So I mean, these are just the things I want her to know what you're fully getting with marrying me, because I don't want your marriage to be wasted. I always leave the option open where if you ever want to have kids, let me know and we'll have a clean break. You know, if you ever want to get married fast and early, faster than what I'm willing to go with, or if you're not okay with what I am and what I'm willing to do, what I will not accept and what I will accept, if you're not okay with these things, then you're free to marry someone else and stuff like that, because I'm not here to be clingy. I'm not here to like hold her fucking hostage like a damn slave master. You know what I'm saying? She's her own person. She deserves to have exactly what she wants when she fucking wants it.
So let's see. She said, from a girl point of view, no girl wants to do wife things and get engaged and then nothing happens. Well, I understand what she's coming from with that, because and that's how I felt back when, you know, when I was with him for a while before I got engaged. That's how I felt. I was living like 3 years or something like that. And that's how I felt, because basically my grandma, so this guy promised to marry my grandma, and she waited decades. And, you know, he said he was going to marry her, promised her he's going to do all that. And she waited all these years and it never happened. And so, you know, learning from my grandma, I learned that, you know, you don't wait on a man to, you know, you don't wait for that, because she waited and she never got married. You know, she died without being married, you know, and he promised her, I think his name was Wilson. He promised her that he was going to marry her, the whole thing, you know, and he never did. He never followed through with that. So I understand that, because you got a lot of women who wait around for a man to marry them. You do, you know, and yes, you know, there is things where I do think that men do underestimate what women do. You know what I'm saying? That they'll be doing this or doing that and not seeing where the difference between a girlfriend, a fiance, and a wife. I do think so, because for a guy, maybe they can't make sense of that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's something they can't make sense of, because a guy's probably thinking that, oh, it's okay for a girl to wash my clothes, you know, and stuff like that, and, you know, cook or blah, blah, blah. But then a guy could also have the same thing where he's like, well, you know, he might be doing stuff and the girl might be okay with doing it. He might be going above and beyond, you know what I'm saying, doing something. So I can get that, but I do understand that for a woman, yeah, I mean, I think when you're, like, for me, like, if I'm washing clothes and cooking stuff, then, yeah, I would be doing more than what a girlfriend would be doing. Because there's a lot of girls where if they're a girlfriend, they'll go out and go on dates, but they won't be doing any clothes washing or picking you up from this place or that place or whatever. They basically, they'll text or talk on the phone and stuff, but they won't do anything extra until they get married. When they get married, then they'll say, okay, well, I do the cooking, cleaning, housework, you know, and extra stuff. And then they'll say that. And I can see how that would be, because when my mom and her sisters were growing up, they were raised to be wives. So they're raised to know how to cook, clean, do housework, yard work and stuff. They were raised to do that as wives. They did that. Now, my mom knew how to do all that. And she's married but separated, and her relationship didn't work out. Now, my mom and my dad still married, but they're separated. But, you know, you can learn how to do all that, and still it can be something that doesn't work out. Don't mean my mom didn't work her ass off, because my mom did everything. You know what I'm saying? She did everything. My mom is like the perfect model, I would say, of what a good wife is. You know what I'm saying? All things she does, you know, and was always, you know, willing to, you know, be intimate with my dad or whatever. But that still didn't make it work, you know what I'm saying, even though she was faithful in that regard. So, you know, yes, I think, you know, I can see where it would be that, you know, a girl would want to know, you know, wouldn't want to be overdoing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe guys don't think nothing about it. They might just think, oh, well, her washing my clothes comes with it. Her to cooking the food comes with it. You know what I'm saying? But that won't always work. You know what I'm saying? And depending on who the woman is, you know. And I do think that, like, I think for me, it just, marriage just defines for me that I'm in a different role. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a girlfriend anymore. You know, we've been together and I'm on a different path and we're working together full team long term. And I think that's what it is to me. But, you know, there's always learning that goes with it. So, you know, am I going to say I'm going to be stuck with not being married? Of course not. You know, yeah, we'll get married. You know, I think, you know, I'm not going to say I know the day, but I think is the two of us kind of being more, you know, aware of each other and what's going on and stuff, and when we feel like we're in a good place, then yeah, you know. And I think it's only gonna make our relationship stronger. And one of the reasons that we made this video is because we want to put a real face to real black love and what it is. You know, and it takes years, you know what I'm saying? It's not just some damn Facebook picture where, you know, a girl and a guy take a picture and that's the relationship, or people try to make it seem like if they get married, they take pictures and say first came love, then came marriage, then here comes a baby. You know, it ain't nothing like that. You know, because people really they're not honest about it. And, you know, like for us, we're being truthful because both of us are here. It's not just me sitting here talking about the relationship or just him talking about it. It's both of us here because, you know, we want people to see that, you know, you can have the male and female perspective. You know, because something I might say may resonate with a girl and something he might say resonates with a guy. Or you might have a girl want to know what's the guy perspective, or a guy want to know what's the girl perspective.
I'm gonna give her the girl perspective on that. I mean, the man perspective on that last one that you just answered. Okay, so from a girl point of view, no girl wants to do wife things, get engaged, and then nothing happen. It's like, what's the point? So I'm gonna put it like this. So from a man's point of view, no girl wants to do wife things. Okay, boom. So from a man's point of view, if she doesn't have the love in her heart already to do those stuff for me right now, I shouldn't be. And if I marry that, then I shouldn't be expecting more later. Okay? But since she already has made a vow to me already, made promises to me already that she will do that, so that will be in the prenup and stuff like that. So if she doesn't do it, that will be a bait and switch for me. So she baited me with saying that she will do it, although she's never shown me that stuff. So when she doesn't do it, I will end up getting a divorce. Now, so then it says, no girl wants to do wife things, get engaged, then nothing happened. It's like, what's the point? Okay, so this is why I'm writing these things down, to see how often it happens. For me, it's how often is she intimate with me, because I want to know the real Michelle. In order for me to know that, I have to write the shit down, because I got day-to-day stuff, or I'm doing at work, or I'm whatever, she's got work. So I want to see, is she willing to do stuff after work? Housework. Is she willing to do as much housework as I'm doing housework, or at least 40%, and I do 50 or 60%? And I just wanted to see. So I'm going, like I said, at the end, I am proactive in my relationship. She says, well, I do stuff you just don't notice. So when I do notice, I have to write it down. I'm not going to fucking remember all this shit all the time. So me writing it down is the best thing. And when it comes to the arguments that we do have, when she feels like she doesn't have to apologize, but she feels that I have to apologize still a certain way, that still exists. Okay, so I do not agree with that. So therefore, I will not marry that. You know what I'm saying? There's things I won't marry. Now, it doesn't have to be me. You know what I'm saying? It does not have to be me. And if she ever wants to have kids, it doesn't have to be me. She can still do whatever the fuck she wants to do. You know what I'm saying? But those are my terms. You know what I'm saying? I have standards. Just like some women have standards on what type of guys they date. You got to be 6 feet tall, light skin with tattoos, look like Drake. You know, they got standards. You know what I'm saying? Well, men have standards. We got standards. You know, but the thing is to not bend on those. I've already been the nice guy before. Got totally ruined, stuff, doing all that shit. I'm no longer that. You know, I know who I am now and what I'm set in and what I'm okay with. Because like women always say, not all girls is like that. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the hours for the restaurant anyway that we're going to. But yeah, we basically made this video because we just wanted to give our point of view about black love. This was the second part. We had the first part before. He might repost the first one, I guess, so that you guys can have both, I guess, if that makes sense. Because we're going to put it on his YouTube. I'll put it on my YouTube also. My YouTube channel, we put on his. But yeah, we just want to give a realistic picture to it. Now, how do we have everything figured out? Hell no, we don't. But, I just think it just takes, it takes time.
Us knuckling down, working together has really helped with bills and rent and stuff like that. And we solved that issue. That's why I ain't been posting that stuff about GoFundMe, help us out with the rent, help us out with that stuff. Some people on her side of the family help. Some people on my side of the family helped with that, help us stay up in this mug. So
yeah, so we do have help that comes along and stuff. But
my mom pitched in.
Yeah.
And, I think her brother pitched in once.
Yeah, our parents have too, and I think.
But as far as donations for Christmas goes, no Christian donated. So
yeah,
we just kind of know the real deal now. We're just kind of like, well, fuck it.
So we'll see. I mean, as we learn stuff, we'll like maybe share as time goes on. I don't know about a Black Love Part 3, but I mean, we always have the future. We don't know where things are going to be. I mean, like right now, he is saying that this is going to go like this for us to get married, blah, blah, blah. We never know what the fuck's going to happen because we never know. Shit, in a year we might decide, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get married. We might decide to do that. If we have the money, we have a prenup, we might decide to do it. I don't know.
Because they're not protected. Because the thing is that.
And I don't mind if he gets a prenup. I don't mind that.
As long as I have that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not giving the judges any chances to fuck with us Black people's lives and what we got.
Yeah, because we might decide to get married and stuff and try things out. We might decide to do that. Yeah. And if, we decide to do it in a year, and everything, works out, let's say we do decide to do it, then okay, fine. But the thing is, I think also what I want to be able to do with him is work as a team, because that's something we don't see a lot. But Black men and Black women is usually the Black man against the Black woman or a Black woman against a Black man a lot of times. And it's not us working together. And I think that us being together on here is a big thing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that, you know what I'm saying, that the relationship thing is important.
Yeah, us supporting each other and knowing that she can support me and I can support her in these aspects. And there's some stuff I just leave to her. I just trust in her. I trust that she can do certain things. And it turns out great, especially, like building websites and stuff like that and her resume building. I just leave that for her because they're fucking amazing and she's great at it. You know what I'm saying? She's like, but Aaron, I don't know if you'll like it. Bullshit. I like the first one. I like the second one, didn't I? And I'm like, I just leave certain skills, to her and trusted her. And that's proved to be useful. But like, as far as marriage goes with a prenup, that's why it protects the both of us. It's a clean break, no spousal support, so you don't got to worry about paying somebody alimony and money while they're with another guy, and you're paying for both of them when they're having.
My thing is that my intention is never to break it off with him at all. My thing is that if for some reason I were to leave, I would want to make sure that, for me, I would want to make sure that I would be able to help him out because, I've been with him so long. My thing is I don't plan on going anywhere or being with anybody else because to me, I've never had that thought, so I don't think I'm going to. One thing I want to do is I just want to grow and learn. There's things he wants to do. And a lot of times, like, because we don't have the money to do a lot of stuff, that's why we haven't really gotten out and done a lot of stuff, like traveled and stuff. A lot of people have gone to this place, that place, and people think because we're single and stuff, they think, oh, well, y'all single, y'all ain't got no kids, so y'all can do this and that, whatever. No, the bills be kicking our ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, we're trying to do that. But, I think for us, it can take some opening up because there's certain parts of myself I've been shared, there's certain parts of his stuff we haven't shared with each other, but I think time will help us with that, and as we have more resources, then we can kind of do, more, right. And we can put more places with stuff than like what we have been able to do.
I'm bad, baby.
Okay.
Okay. So, like for instance, she said, when after I get married, I'll do more housework. That's one. After I get married, I'll try on lingerie. That's two. After I get married, I'll wear more different clothes for you, some sexy clothes for some stuff like that. That's three. We'll be even more intimate afterwards. So that's four. So when it comes for the vows, if I don't hear any of that stuff, I'm just walking off the fucking stage. You know, saying,
well, we don't know because that was years ago, so we don't really know.
I mean, no, I'm still holding those promises.
Well, that's what
I get, because that's all guys get. Guys only get
that's what he's
from marriage. They only get the promises.
That's what he's holding, but again, we're not getting married anytime soon just
right.
yet,
I mean,
so
I'm
we
just
don't
saying,
know.
I'm just saying that, like, if those, so basically the prenup is for when those things don't happen and I've been lied to, I just break it off because I don't agree with, like, for instance, if you can lie for that long, all the way up until marriage,
it doesn't. I wouldn't say,
and then don't do those things you said you was going to do, like none of them. Then
well,
I
wouldn't say
how could you keep that lie going without finishing?
Well, I would
for
say
the person you love, and I would just leave after that.
Well, I think with being married, I would say that it probably is going to be an adjustment. It probably be something we've never done before. So it's not going to be something that I feel like I'm going to be an expert in. You know, when I said those things, that was years ago. There are some things you said years ago that you would follow through with marrying, but we didn't do that. So that could be something I could still be holding you over on.
I told you to tell me. I am not.
But you told me that you was going to do that.
I don't know what stuff. Like, I need to write this shit down. So that I know. Because I know I said I would learn more about cars. I know I said I would learn more about fixing the house. And I have zero problem with doing exactly what I said I'm going to do. Because why? Because I've been doing that shit. And I've been showing proof of doing that. Even when it came to the marriage stuff, I started saving and shit. And I started making ways for us to fucking save. So I even adhere to that too. You know what I'm saying? But it's not my fault that she's not a saving type of person.
Yeah, but I've been making sure we get these bills undertaken too.
See, so that's what you see what's in the way, and see how she says that. There you go.
But see, that's something we've been doing. So because we're working together, you know. But again, we don't want this to be a 5-hour video. So
because we're working together, more things is possible.
Yeah. So because we are
Christianity way too. We threw that away. We apologize to each other. We work on our relationship. You know what I'm saying? And we actually try to listen. We take turns listening to each other's points in an argument to come together and figure it out, rather than, oh, I'm just going to go to church and repent to Jesus and give it all up to God and screw how you feel. You know?
So we'll see what happens in the future. Like I said, he may be rigid as hell on what he's saying now, but we don't know. You know, it all depends. But you know, there's always the future. So we'll see what happens, because
I was going to be upfront with Michelle and very truthful with Michelle, so she knows exactly.
I'm upfront with it.
And I think that's the best thing I can do for her, because I don't want to be no fake person. And just because I don't have money now doesn't mean I shouldn't tell her what type of person I am when I do have money, and I let her know I am this type of person. Are you okay with this?
Well, I understand that, dear, but we kind of got to go get the food. So.
All right, let's go.
So
go ahead, you can do it.
So thank you guys for watching this video that have watched it. I don't know how many people have viewed it. Probably some people that was looking on my Facebook timeline probably viewed it and saw it and everything. But thank you guys for viewing it. I didn't see anybody on that I knew viewing it. But I think that I'm really appreciative. People gave likes, they gave hearts and stuff, and I really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you for the support.
Thank you.
And you know, we might do a follow-up to this at some point. I don't know. But we'll see what happens and stuff. It's the beginning of a new year, so you know, only time will tell. So thank you guys for watching, and we wanted to give a real view on Black Love, and here it is. So we have part 1 and part 2 that we did, and if you guys want to ask comments about, you know, part 1, then we're more than happy to link you to that. But we've been talking for almost 3 hours, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna break this video, call it even, and we're gonna end the video. But if you guys have any comments, please feel free to either message either one of us or comment on this video or whatever, and you know, whether YouTube or Facebook, and you know, we'll comment back. You know, especially if you guys want to know what we think about this or what we think about that. Then, you know, we're okay with making other videos about other topics and stuff, because we each have different perspectives about stuff. Some things I agree with, and some stuff he agrees with, and we're different. So, you know,
I just always want to let you know that, like, I always want to show as much as myself I can to you, because just in case there's any deal breakers in there. You get to know what that stuff is, and I don't end up being the one that's baiting and switching on accident.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. But thank you guys
Thank y'all
for
for watching. Peace.
Bye.
Hit the end button.